Memphis and W253 DF Memphis with Dave Woloshin weekday mornings from 10 to 11. It's time for Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Scott Scoresworthy and Brian Davis.
Welcome into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios. Landon Schmidt producing. We're Sports Time. We're with you for the next 3 hours. A ton to get into. NBA basketball, college football, Major League Baseball, a little bit of everything over these next 3 hours. Maybe even a little SEC baseball a little later with Gary Darby. So much to get into this afternoon. But Brett, how are you?
Brian, I'm doing well. We got college football playoff news today.
That's exactly right. Yeah, the news that came out, Ross Dellinger reporting last night that there was a little meeting taking place in New York yesterday, and some news coming out from that. So yeah, very newsy Friday this afternoon. Also, Bill Belichick news out there that we'll have to discuss at some point.
Got
so,
he said, she said, they both didn't say.
That's
in
right.
North Carolina, mea culpa.
That's right. Yes, it's a mess at North Carolina. That's the gist of it. Yeah, imagine. Yeah.
Wonder how it ends.
Probably not well. Based on how everything's gone today, I would say not very well.
And some of the sourcing was his family.
Oh, no,
saying
it absolutely was.
That she was barred.
Oh, no, it's don't believe North Carolina at all. I mean, North Carolina flat out lied with that statement today.
Yeah.
I mean, Pablo Torre did a fantastic job with this story. He did it on his podcast. 11 separate sources. I would trust that more than I trust North Carolina's statement.
Last Sunday, in the Sunday Arkansas Democrat Gazette, there was a Washington Post story. And, like when you do the story, you usually have the byline, by Bryant Dacus. Mm-hmm. It had 7 different people listed in the byline, and in the story, it had 0 sources. It had 7 bylines and 0 sources.
That seems a little backwards, but okay.
Yeah. Kind of needs to be inverse, doesn't it?
Yeah, seems like maybe I like mine, 1 byline and 7 sources, rather than
and
the opposite.
I wonder now if they're adding to a byline, just somebody that just made a phone call or sent out a text or something.
You would hope with 7 on the byline that would have to be somewhere near the case. I don't know. I mean, that's a lot of names. It's a lot of people.
You'd have to get everybody's story down, right, to write the story with 7, wouldn't you?
Something. I don't even know how that would work, but
there's a lot about and 0 sources.
That's crazy. That's insane. But I don't even know what to think about that. But like you were saying, Ross Dellinger, his story last night talking about the growing Big Ten and SEC support for a 16-team bracket. Most notably, a bracket that would include 13 autos, 3 at large. The 13 autos would look like this: 4 SEC, 4 Big Ten, 2 ACC, 2 Big 12, 1 group of 6, and then 3 at large with season-ending interleague play-in games, 3rd versus 6th, 4th versus 5th.
In both SEC and Big Ten.
That's a lot. That is a lot to digest from Ross Dellinger last night.
That's a lot. It's a lot of football. I'm not for that. I can't stop it. You know what I'm for? I'm for 16 at larges. Mm-hmm. And wherever they come from, they come from.
Yeah.
I'm really not for 16. I would really like to go back to just 2, but I know we're not doing that for a lot of reasons, money being the biggest, and interest and rights fees and all that goes with interest and rights fees. We're not doing that, but a lot of those teams, I wonder, Brian, and I said this when we went to 14 last year, we're going to be 14 this year. Mm-hmm. How many years will that satisfy people that, we made the playoffs, but you don't make any noise? And how many years before I'm turning off the donation tap of you didn't make the playoffs?
Yeah, well, it's a good question because I think you're already seeing teams in year 1 of the 12-team playoff of teams that beginning of the season, it's, oh, man, we're going to the playoffs. We're going to go to the playoffs. This team's so good. And then end of the season rolls around, and you're just outside of the playoffs, and it's kind of like, oh, man, that was kind of a dud of a season. I mean, you were right there. You were super close to being in the playoffs, but because of, that expectation before the season, it felt like a lost season. And so I think for those teams that, are in there and maybe they just barely get in for a handful of years, they lose in the first game every year. Yeah, I mean, after a while, I think that gets a little old. You want more, and so it can make seasons a little more complicated now, I guess.
Yeah, you're right. I said 14. It was 12 last year, 12 this year, and there's talk about maybe 14 or 16, 26 and beyond. If Rick Barnes, and he does catch all that he catches, which I think second round Rick has been done away with.
Oh, definitely.
But he still catches it for not getting to the ultimate, to college basketball paradise, the Final Four. If he catches that much, there will be coaches that are one and done, are not into Final Four, are not even in the playoff. That won't last long at 10, 12, 13 million a year.
No. And especially if you're not making it, and especially if we go to 16, this is being proposed. I mean,
great point.
It is.
You go to 16 and you miss it. You've been missing it at 12.
And especially with if it, let's just say this is what becomes the playoffs, and you're a Big 12 coach, and two teams are automatically going to all you got to do is in a sense, make your conference championship game, and you're going to the playoffs. If you don't make that and you're not making it, that contract, people are going to start looking at it and go, we got to make a change. If you're in the SEC, 4 teams go. If you're not making that and you're not making one of the 3 at-larges, then we really got issues with that money being thrown around in some of these bigger conferences like the SEC and the Big Ten. So, yeah, I mean, that will be a problem for some coaches.
There are very few coaches in the SEC that would be immune from, and you really dissect it and break it down even better when you're talking about in those play-in games. If you're not even in that pretty often, well, why are we paying 10 and the money's only going up?
Oh, yeah. And so, I mean, I think we're already starting to see some quick changes in college football at the head coach position. I think, you'll see more of that if and when we expand to 16, and if it looks anything like this with the bids out there.
And I'm not for these automatic bids. I wish we just had a total at large, but we had automatic qualifiers last year and will this year, and we saw what that produced last year.
Yeah, no, we did, and I mean, what does that mean for if this was the I mean, obviously the only reason this is the one that's being proposed is because the Big Ten and the SEC need everyone else to agree with it. So they're trying to make those conferences a little happy with, 2 from each conference. But, we saw what some of those 2 conferences, the Big 12 and the ACC, what they produced this year from their conference. And I mean, now if you get to a point where you're adding 2 of them from each of those conferences, then I don't know how much I'm for that. You go down even in the SEC, even in the Big Ten. If we're talking 4 from each conference, and then even at-larges, the at-larges are going to come from one of the SEC or the Big Ten. Do we really need SEC 5, SEC 6 in the playoffs? I don't think so.
Well, SEC 5 this year would have been either at 4 or 5, Alabama or Ole Miss.
All right. Well, so yeah, then they're close. I wonder who Big Ten 5 or 6 would have been.
I'll look. Well, I have it in front of me. 5 in the Big Ten would have been Illinois.
Yeah, I don't need Illinois in the playoffs. I'm good on that.
Finished 10-3, but 9-3 regular season, 6-3 in the Big Ten.
Yeah, I'll pass on Illinois being in the playoffs. So I'm not for all the auto bids. I'm not for the 16-team playoff.
I'm not for either one either.
No.
So back to the SEC. Let's do this fast too.
Okay.
You tell me. You miss it 2 years in a row, and let's say all these coaches are making around. Let's just use $10 million.
Sure.
It might be a little less in some cases, might be a little more in others. We'll use 10 and with the market going that way. You miss being in that play-in mix 2 years in a row. Can they survive it? Texas.
No.
Georgia.
No.
Tennessee.
No.
Complete agreement so far. Alabama.
Absolutely not.
LSU.
No.
I think the secret hottest seat in college football this year will be Brian Kelly. I agree so far. That's 5.
Yeah.
Ole Miss.
No.
Show better not be 3.
Yeah.
But I think I agree with you. South Carolina.
Yeah, I'll say yes.
But can't take 3, could he?
No, certainly not.
Texas A&M.
No.
Florida.
No.
No.
I don't
Mizzou.
think so. Mizzou, yeah, I think.
Better not be 3,
Probably
though.
better not be 3.
And might be the first member of the 4 club.
That's right. Yeah.
But in a 5-year contract signed, and he hadn't done it by that 4th year, they're changing, and they're probably changing 30 years ago in the 4th year if you're not progressing along.
Definitely.
Maybe not to those levels. Oklahoma, yes. Auburn, yes. I mean, it's just about everybody.
It's about everybody, yeah. It really is. Man,
it's big money.
It's the big
Invest
money,
it well.
and it's the expectations of the type of players, the type of teams you have in the SEC to should be able to compete at least in the top half of the conference.
And just about every one of those places, that coach that gets fired at, say, well, for sure, Texas and Georgia, even Heupel, they all get rehired by somebody in the SEC.
That's right. That's right. But, I mean, basically what this is saying is basically finish in the top half of your conference, finish in the top half of the SEC. If you're not finishing in the top half of the SEC right now, after 2 or 3 years, you're probably either on the hot seat or don't have a job anymore.
Right.
So,
and that's not that different than the last 30 years.
Exactly. So, I mean, it's
maybe a little by a year or so.
Maybe, but, it's still.
And we say that, and Sam Pittman's entering year 6, and he hadn't won squat.
No, that's true. That's true. Well, Sam Pittman better get it going this year.
Yeah.
We say that, who knows? Who ultimately knows? But definitely some interesting reporting from Ross Dellinger. He said that we should get more information within the next month or two about this with both those conferences.
Memorial Weekend,
Destin
will bring a lot.
Exactly, doing their meetings. So should know more
meetings.
about this. Of course, it's meeting season, Brett. Everybody
it really is.
Everybody is meeting, but did not expect the late night into morning of May 8th and 9th, we would be getting big college football news like that.
Tonight in the NBA, Cavaliers at Pacers, we know what's at stake. Yep. Pacers, they win tonight. Historically, they can't blow this. Mm-hmm. Who for the Cavaliers has to have the game be the dominant game, be the star tonight?
I mean, Donovan Mitchell, but we already saw Donovan Mitchell be the star.
He had 48 and they lost.
Exactly. So, but I mean, if it's the star, he's got to be the star, and then you got to have supporting pieces.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see another star out there right now. If everyone's still out with injuries,
to get to 3-0, who's got to do it for Indiana?
Man, the easy answer is Halliburton, but it's been such a team effort for them.
Mm-hmm.
It's everybody pitching in. And that's what last game, Halliburton didn't have a great game, but, everyone else was pitching in and, scoring 15 to 25 points, and you're able to get wins. That's going to be the fun one tonight.
Look what they're doing to us on Friday night, 9 o'clock Central Time. Yeah. Thunder, Nuggets.
I'm fine with that.
Denver.
Hey, it's
Friday
Friday.
night.
Stay up a little bit later. No reason to wake up early tomorrow.
Watch the late night baseball recap.
Exactly. I'm fine with
keep up with the hockey.
Start.
I don't really even know the hockey schedule tonight. I'm sorry.
Brett, it's both your teams playing. Leafs and Jets. It's both your teams. Good Lord.
Leaves and Jets.
I'm
sorry.
Already out. Both your teams going tonight. So no, it's going to be a good night in both the NBA and the NHL.
The golf in Philadelphia is all done for today.
Really?
Yes.
Raining or something?
Been done. They started extra early getting ready for
Okay.
the big one moving through.
Okay.
We all made the cut. There's no cut.
Oh, well.
With elevated event. Keith Mitchell, 12 under. Shane Lowry, 11 under. I said that with anger, didn't I?
You did say that with anger.
Sepp Straka, 10 under. Boy, we've got a great contest going.
Yeah.
Justin Thomas, 7. Rory McIlroy, 7. Colin Morikawa, 7. Akshay Bhatia, 7.
All right. So, hey,
We're all kind of in there.
All kind of in there in the mix. I love it. That'll be is the rain supposed to get out today? Is everything good for tomorrow?
Looks pretty sloppy all weekend.
Oh, man.
A lot of places.
Hope they
Baseball
can,
in D.C. all weekend for the Cardinals.
Yeah,
Same.
that's right. That's right. Ole Miss and Mississippi State doing a doubleheader today because of the potential.
If it's raining
weather
in Starkville,
tomorrow.
it's raining all over the world. There was a song about that, wasn't it?
Maybe. I don't know. I'll leave that to you. But definitely some rain in the forecast. So with that, I should let everybody know we will be joining in progress Ole Miss, Mississippi State tonight with that doubleheader. So it'll be probably late in that first game when we join, and then we'll have the entirety of game number 2.
And no game tomorrow. The third and final game will be Sunday because it looks like just no way for the triangle to avoid it.
That's right, yeah. So getting tomorrow's game out of the way, playing that doubleheader today, and then they'll wrap up on Sunday. But we've got a lot to get to over the next 3 hours. Let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30, Alan Bell from Driving the Line. He'll join us. We'll talk some wagering with him, get some picks for the NBA action as well as some baseball picks. 3:45, we'll talk Major League Baseball. Some good series getting started this weekend. And Rafael Devers, he is letting everybody know he is not playing first base for the Red Sox. We'll talk about that situation up in Boston. 4 o'clock, Bruce Marshall from Vegas Insider and CBS Sports. He'll join us. We'll do more wagering with Bruce, the NBA, maybe even some NHL picks. I know Brett's ready for his NHL picks from Bruce Marshall.
You could tell how ready I was.
Exactly. I mean, you knew exactly who was playing tonight, and it was both your teams, and you didn't know. I mean, Brett, come on.
I just didn't have it in front of me, Brian.
Okay, I see. You knew it. It was in the back
Give
of your head.
me a little grace.
It was in one of those folders in the back of your head.
Yeah.
You just didn't have it pulled out. But we'll talk a lot of wagering with Bruce Marshall at 4 o'clock. 4:30, we'll get into the NBA playoffs. The Timberwolves with a win last night over the Warriors, 117-93 to tie that series 1 apiece. Break down the 2 games tonight. Cavs at Pacers, Thunder at Nuggets. 4:45, we'll get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Gary Darby from the Grizzlies Radio Network. He'll join us. We'll talk a little Grizzlies. We'll talk the NBA playoffs. We'll also get to some SEC baseball with Gary as we're getting closer to the SEC tournament down in Hoover and the NCAA tournament. A lot of SEC in the NCAA tournament this year. So we'll get to all of that at 5 o'clock. 5:30, we'll get to what's trending. And at 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure studios where family and fun come together. It's pool time, and Family Leisure is already booking pool installs for 2025. Buy now and get on the list for your pool installation. 2024 pool starting at $19.99 installed, with liners starting at $299. All pool accessories up to 20% off. 5 to 6 person hot tubs starting at $69.99, and swim spas and cold plunge tubs now $2,000 off. Don't forget about the patio furniture. Select sets now up to 50% off, and if you mention this ad, get free installation only at Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40.
We are Sports Time with Bryant and Brett, and we're produced by Landon Schmidt, and we're with you until 6 o'clock. And we want you to be a part of our show by texting or calling 901-360-8255. That's the Sissy's Log Cabin text and talk line. All our guests will appear on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line at 901-360-8255. Preemptive Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there and everybody celebrating this Sunday for one and all. We're always in our Family Leisure studios, and this hour always brought to you by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all 2025 models and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Call them at 901-334-9673, but they want you to stop by the only Lexus dealership in Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2025 flagship LS500, and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at LexusOfMemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day, it's the Timberwolves beating the Warriors last night, 117-93. No Steph Curry out there and only 15 points for the Warriors in the first quarter. They were playing from behind immediately. At times, it felt like they would maybe never score a basket. It was 7 minutes and 3 seconds left in the first quarter when Golden State made their first field goal, their first points of the night. They go on to lose that game, and it got better at the end, but around halftime, third quarter, they made it a 7-point game, Golden State did, before the Timberwolves really kind of took control back of that game to win 117-93. Now today, Shams Charania reporting that Steph Curry isn't expected to return until Game 6 at the earliest, so the Warriors will have to find ways to get wins against this T-Wolves team until Steph Curry could maybe return. I mean, you're saying at the earliest, Game 6. You don't feel great about that, but now the series all tied up 1-1 as they go back to Golden State to play the next two games. This should be a really fun series.
They're just another team without him.
Oh man, it was
a lot would be.
Sure, I mean, but it was some ugly offense last night for Golden State.
It was my top story. 2 game threes tonight. 2-0 Indiana at home against Cleveland. 1-1 Denver hosting Oklahoma City. Tomorrow at 2:30, the big spotlight on Madison Square Garden for Knicks Game 3, up 2-0 over Boston. Still hard to read that and comprehend. 7:30 tomorrow night, Golden State with an injured Steph and an always angry Draymond, 1-1 hosting Minnesota. Without Steph Curry, Minnesota, you've got to win this series. Somehow, some way, you got to get 4 wins over this team. Sunday, Oklahoma City at Denver, Indiana home against Cleveland. But it will be Indiana. I think Indiana will have the brooms out. And when we get back on Monday, a series will be over.
Wow. Holy cow, that would be insane if we're talking about a series being done on Monday.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day is the report that came out earlier this morning from Ross Dellinger that the 4 Power Conference commissioners held an in-person meeting in New York yesterday to discuss several issues, including a future playoff format. That playoff format would look something like this. This is what's growing support within the Big Ten and the SEC. A 16-team bracket that would include 13 autos, 4 from the SEC, 4 from the Big Ten, 2 from the ACC, 2 from the Big 12, 1 from the group of 6, and then 3 at large with season-ending interleague play in games, which would look like 3rd place versus 6th, 4th versus 5th in the SEC and Big Ten. A decision is expected over the next month or two with those meetings taking place for both those conferences. But definitely some big news at what the future could look like for the playoffs. Brett and I kind of agreed. Don't really like this idea, but it does look like we're moving in the direction of something resembling this with more teams in the playoffs and more auto bids for those power conferences.
Why would the Big 12 and the ACC agree to this?
I mean,
for fear that they would just get steamrolled and move on without them?
I don't think they have much power at this point, and I think they just kind of want everything to stay together and are saying, sure, you'll give us another team, fine.
And they have to take whatever they can get.
Pretty much, yeah. That's what it kind of feels like.
Sure does. My not top story, next to last weekend of SEC baseball, 9th weekend of the 10-game juggernaut that everybody's been through. We talked about it. When Texas and OU coming in, that football was going to be tough. Basketball would be tougher than football, but that baseball would top everything.
Yep.
I think it's lived up to that. And unlike basketball, where you had to show me all year. All year I was reluctant about 13, 14 teams in. Show me somebody standing there that won it. Well, Florida did. In baseball, you don't have to show me. I can tell you now who's going to be standing there in Omaha.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be somebody from the SEC.
Oh, yeah.
It is the toughest, and it's better, it's deeper in baseball than anything else, even football and even basketball, and that was with the great show basketball had. But we know in Omaha, somebody's going to be winning it from the SEC, and we've kind of gone through this cycle of it's your turn. Mississippi State won, Ole Miss won, LSU's had a bunch of turns, Tennessee had their turn. It's Arkansas's turn, isn't it?
Feels like it. Feels like
and Arkansas is the one exception. They got to show me because they've blown more than they've won in Omaha.
They sure have.
And for a team that fancies themselves as Omahogs, they've gagged up one and never had a dog pile.
That's why you kind of worry about them when you say it feels like, it's their time. Well, I hope so, but like you said, you kind of gotta show me.
I think somewhere in there I left out Florida getting one too.
Yeah, no, it's been a lot of SEC in college baseball, but yeah, we'll talk a little bit of SEC baseball later in the show when Gary Darby joins us, so that will be a lot of fun. But that'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's go ahead and get to our first break, and when we return, we're talking some wagering. Alan Bell, he joins us next.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Briggs Powder Coating for a beautiful finish every time. Briggs Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With two conveyor lines and the largest batch ovens in the Mid-South, Briggs can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Briggs Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Briggs Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or BriggsPowderCoating.com.
Happy Mother's Day from Goulds. Give the gift of relaxation. Give the gift of style. Give the gift of Goulds this Mother's Day with a Goulds gift card. Now through May 11th, purchase a $150 gift card in-store and receive a travel kit valued at $47 while supplies last. Goulds is always the right size and fit for professional salon services, spa services, and the best selection of exclusive hair and skincare products and interests. Pick up a gift card for mom at any Goulds location. Goulds Salon Spa, turning heads since 1932.
Wally Hatchet serves breakfast all day and Southern comfort food for lunch. Hatchet fans love our huge omelet, breakfast Sammys, scrambles, and chicken and waffles. For lunch, check out the Mississippi pot roast, chicken fried steak, grilled meatloaf are one of our best-selling burgers, lipstick on a cow. Pickup, delivery, and catering are also available. Visit WallyHatchets.com to order online. Wally Hatchets is located at 6439 Summer Avenue and open from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Tuesday through Sunday. Wally Hatchets. Count your blessings, not your calories.
Jenkins Floors and More invites you to the retail warehouse where they pass wholesale savings on to you. Jenkins Floors at 2356 Goodman Road in Horn Lake. Also stores in Cleveland, Mississippi and Little Rock. They specialize in flooring and carpeting, tile, plantation shutters, and blinds. Jenkins makes your life easy with a 2-week turnaround. Contractors, builders, and family projects call 662-469-9350 for a free estimate. Owners Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins say hello to Sports 56 fans and look forward to your business.
Hello, sports fans out there. Walker Taylor here with the Germantown and Collierville Commissary. We just celebrated our 43rd year in business, and I would like to thank our fantastic customers and especially our loyal staff. Time has flown by. We now have a second location, Poplar and Houston Levy in Collierville. Catering is a specialty of ours. 50 to 5,000, no job too small, no job too big. Full service or self-service. We also have a party room in Collierville that is great for rehearsal dinners, business meetings, you name it, we'd love to have you. Also, our barbecue party packs start at $8.75 a person. Barbecue, beans, slaw, bun sauce, including serving utensils. Especially great for tailgating with football season coming up. The commissary restaurants also believe in giving back to the community. Possibly you have been approached by somebody selling a barbecue 6-pack coupon for fundraising. Cheerleading groups, church groups, anything to help a worthy cause. Holidays are near. Smoked hams and smoked turkeys will be on the pit before you know it. Come see us at Germantown and Collierville Commissary. Also check us out at commissarybbq.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It's busy. Give yourself a little bit of extra time, especially through Midtown. That's only going to get heavier in the next few minutes on 240 South at South Parkway. Trying to build over here on I-40 East as you work your way past Hollywood all the way over to White Station. Still looks good right now, coming off 240 onto 385 Bill Morris Parkway, headed out towards Collierville. Dandelions, crabgrass, Lawn Solutions here in town says not a problem. Call Lawn Solutions right now. They'll make your yard look really good this spring and summer. That telephone number is 867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now, back to Sports Time. Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by Lexus Service. Here are your hosts, Let's Talk Sports with Brian Davis.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Brian Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios. And joining us now, talk some wagering from Driving the Line. Alan Bell joins us now. Alan, thanks so much for joining us. Plenty to get into. Let's start in the NBA. Last night, Timberwolves even the series 1-1 against the Warriors. But now it looks like Steph Curry at the earliest will be back Game 6. It feels like Warriors in some trouble without him.
Oh, big time trouble. Now, first off, boys, appreciate you guys having me back. Yeah, I mean, it just changes the dynamic of this team. And when you take a scorer like Steph Curry out, you've got guys that are having to do jobs that aren't necessarily who they are. And I'll give you a perfect example. Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green are now shooting threes. A lot of them, right? Like, it just changes the dynamic. And really what sports comes down to when you have injuries like this is that your margin for error is so thin. And if you're Minnesota, what you do is you get them in foul trouble. You force them to make decisions. You force them to play just from behind, man. 0-2 counts in baseball, right? Like that's what they're going to do, and they're going to continue leaning on it. I'm not saying, like, I don't ever count the Warriors out, but, man, without Steph for that long, it's going to be tough.
And this is the last dance for the Warriors, isn't it?
Yeah, it feels like it, and they gave Steve Kerr, that big, raise and extension, and essentially what that is rebuild this, right? Like, and good luck. I mean, rebuilding to what you've done, but yeah, I mean, it feels like it. They've had an unbelievable run, but yeah, we'll see what they look like the next coming years. Could be very, very different.
Yeah.
Tonight in Indianapolis, the Pacers can go up 3-0. If they do, this is over. Nobody's coming back from down and winning 4 straight games. Is that a bigger shocker that they're up 2-0, or is it Knicks going home tomorrow to play Boston up 2-0?
No, the Knicks for me. Now, again, we don't take anything away from what the Pacers have done. Cleveland has dealt with some injuries there, and not making the excuse. I'm just saying what the Knicks are doing is incredible, man. Like, the Boston Celtics are a pretty darn close to perfect basketball team. They can score.
The champs.
They can shoot from in. Yeah, I mean, they could do it all. Like, they're 5-tool, right? Like, they can play inside. They can shoot from outside. They can play great defense. They've got stars. And the Knicks, man, are they win game 1. They steal game 2. Just big
respect to what the Knicks are doing. But don't get me wrong, and like you said, it is a must-win for Cleveland tonight because number one, that arena is going to be raucously loud. And if you think it's tough battling down 2-0, buddy, down 3-0 and on the road, oh, dude, over, man. So,
and it's why, for me, I've continued this theme since the Grizzlies have been knocked out. It's just infuriating to think of those games that by whether it was maintenance or just night off or the out of nowhere, food poisoning, whatever. We know now Michael Jordan did not have food poisoning that year. He said it in the big series. He'd stayed out all night. But you just have to wonder about the Grizzlies when they just gave away those games. If they get in even in that sixth spot with some of these other injuries, how some of these other teams playing, Alan, they could still be playing. You don't mess with Mother Nature. You don't try to finesse the schedule like the Grizzlies front office did.
No, you don't do it, man, because you know what? My dad used to say this to me as a kid constantly. Be careful what you wish for, man. Be careful about that, right? Like, I'm with you. You know, you just go out and just play to win the game and let the chips fall where they may. Yeah, they absolutely could be here. I mean,
and play to win game 22 as much as game 82.
Yeah, see, that's the other thing too, man, is that, you know, teams act like, oh, you know, we're in the first couple weeks, it doesn't matter. Well, it matters in the end. You know what I mean? And take it. See, I look at it like you are. Like, if us three were coaching an NBA team, okay, and all these teams the first, you know, month and a half are, you know, you're getting sitting guys and you're not really getting. Guess what? Those are the games that I want to win, right? If you're going to give it to me, I will take it. You know what I mean? Because it all adds up there. But yeah, I mean, these NBA players.
It makes your team think. It almost puts in their back of their mind, or maybe front of their mind, that it's okay to maybe to be a little slouchy. When I hear around the NBA that was a scheduled loss, well, then you're telling your team before the game that this is okay.
Yeah, you're not going to win any titles doing that. You can go down the board, any sport, any team. That ain't happening.
And I went through the games played. You know, John Morant just. He doesn't play more often, it feels like, than he plays. And I went through Anthony Edwards, 72, 72, 79, 79, 79 in 5 years.
Wow. Yeah, there you go. There you go right there. You nailed it, yeah.
Well, Alan, let's look at some of these games tonight. The first one, Brett mentioned, Pacers up 2-0 over the Cavs, and now at home. Cleveland, 5-point favorite on the road, the total at 230.5. What do you like in this one?
Give me Indiana +5. If you're going to give me the home team that's up 2-0, I'll absolutely take it. Now, I think betting Cleveland with the money line could be a play. Because if there's ever a game that Cleveland has to win, it's tonight. It is tonight. It is an absolute must-win, because if they don't, it's over. And you can just go ahead and just all over the Pacers in Game 4. But Indiana ain't going away. They've been doing this on the road. Now they're playing at home. That crowd is going to be loud all game long. They're going to do their part. Indiana's thinking, you know, what we were just talking about, you know, in regards to coaching. This is not a slouch off game. Hey, we're up 2-0. No. When you have a snake in the yard, you cut its head off.
You
right?
better.
Like, you don't give it. Yeah, you don't give it life. You just go out and kill it. Again, Cleveland on the money line. I totally get that play. I know the juice is probably pretty high, but you're going to give me Indiana +5 points, buddy. I will gladly take that one.
Especially in that atmosphere, I would too.
Yeah, you know, and look, it with all the games that we've seen in the NBA so far, like, this is one of those where I'll bet Indiana +5. Like, the price is worth the cost of admission. If I lose, I lose. Fine. I'm fine with that. But I'm going to continue to ride what's been working.
Yeah. And the big question will be, you know, do those three guys play for Cleveland? Evan Mobley, Darius Garland, DeAndre Hunter, all missed game 2. Will they play? I know they were at shoot-around earlier today. Will they be able to go tonight will be the big question. The other game tonight, OKC, a 6-point favorite on the road after a massive win at home over the Nuggets in game 2. Total 232. You like anything in this one?
Yeah, look, I'll tell you what, man. Give me the Nuggets with the points. Now, again, that doesn't mean that I think that, you know, OKC's not going to show up or, you know, anything like that. This game tonight could be one of the best games that we see all season, because you've got Jokic coming off, getting, fouling out in the third quarter of game 2. It's tied 1-1. You're in Denver for their first home game in this series, so you know the crowd, the atmosphere is going to be there. Jokic was fired up in game 2. I think that this is, if you're ever going to bet a triple-double type game for Jokic, is going to be it. And again, Not that the Thunder aren't going to be coming too. Like, that total is really high, but I don't hate it. I just think you're going to see aggressiveness on both sides. I'll take the Nuggets with the points being at home. Kind of similar to the first game in terms of I like home teams in Game 3. Yeah, I'll take the Nuggets with the points.
Yeah, I do too, and we got to sober up a little bit in these playoffs. It can't stay crazy train
Yeah.
the whole time, can it?
No, right? Like, it feels like every game has been 7-point lead with 1 minute left, done. Like, the other team just feels it. Like, how long is that going to go,
When you going over to the MLB, what would you set the over-under for weeks until Rafael Devers is traded from Boston?
Yeah, 2. Like, it feels like it's going to be. It feels like it's going to be pretty soon, right? And it's such a fascinating conversation because I get both sides, right? Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with a team at any level saying, "Hey, man, you're one of our best players, and we just had a huge injury at first base, and you could play it. Can you help us out?" Like, that's not an unreasonable ask.
And it's the easiest
saying?
position in the sport to play.
Exactly. Who doesn't want to play first? Like, dude, that's awesome, man. And I mean, I guess I see it from the player's side of, okay, well, I'm going to go play first, and it takes adjustment. And if I don't have a good season, don't punish me afterward. You know what I mean? Like, oh, well, your numbers have dropped off. Well, why do you think so? I tried to help the team out, So I think that there's a middle ground here. But again, I fall on the side of the team with stuff like this. Like, I'm not asking you, to go out and reinvent the wheel. We just need some help. Like,
they didn't ask you to play middle linebacker.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, I'm not asking you to go stop Lawrence Taylor, okay? Like, we just need a first baseman.
I heard Brian Kenny this afternoon on MLB Network, and he had a very reasonable, and he did it in a great way. He didn't do it, with any pomposity or bombast. He just said Rafael Devers, and he should voice his disagreement. The Red Sox management and the field managers should listen to it. But in the end, he signed a contract to play baseball for the Boston Red Sox, not to play third base.
Yep, that's a great point. That's an absolutely great point, right? And
at the end, if we tell you go in at center, you go in and you be the rover. You go in and do it.
Yeah, it goes back to exactly that, right? Like, coach is making the lineup, right? Like, if he writes 1B or 3B, okay. Like, you tell me where to go, coach. Like,
whether you're batting third or ninth, that's when you grab a bat. And Bryant, flag the tape.
Okay.
Alan Bryant's not going, and Landon aren't going to believe what I'm getting ready to do. I'm getting ready to compliment John Calipari.
Whoa. Oh,
everybody out there in traffic, slow down.
Holy cow.
John Calipari had a great line when he was here and continued at Kentucky. I bet continues at Arkansas. He said, "I want my players to argue back with me. They can argue back with me. They can get loud with me." And he even said another. He said they can use a lot of different words, but in the end, I always win the debate.
Yep, he does. And look, that's what it's about, man. And if you're a teammate, how do you look at that? Like, it's just not an unreasonable ask, man. Like, we need you. We all need you. You're saying no to everybody. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a weird situation up in Boston. What do you like around Major League Baseball tonight and into this weekend?
Yeah, and again, third base. Who wants to play third base, dude? You're getting rocket shot at you. I'll say first for sure.
You got it's like a 38 coming at you.
Literally, dude. It is seriously, man. Across Major League Baseball.
Play in on the grass and lose an eye.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Yeah, seriously, dude. First base seems like a vacation compared to that. I think that you look at the New York Yankees; they have an opportunity to really get the bats going tonight. The Dodgers, all right, they've been on an absolute tear. They've been traveling a lot. last night they had a little bit of a stoppage, which was natural because they've been on, 3-4 straight road series. But Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts is unbelievably due for a big game. That's going to happen soon. But yeah, man, like I like some of these bigger branded teams tonight. And also, I'll tell you what, the Detroit Tigers are hitting the baseball better than anybody right now, man. So yeah, pay attention there. But yeah, those are the teams where you're going to get some runs tonight, man.
Alan, we didn't get a chance to visit with you last week after the draft, but I wanted to. Yeah, we did. Last week wasn't a draft. I'm sorry, but if I'm repeating myself, please just forgive me. Around Nashville, what will be the patience level for Cam Ward? I mean, we'll talk radio. Will the writers, will the bloggers, will the podcasters, are people going to be fair to him and give him a chance? I mean, Will Levis, I don't think he deserved much more of a chance than he got, but he was done before he could get started good.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you this, man. Look, and you know markets better than anybody, right? Like Nashville, and I'm not saying this disrespectfully. I'm saying it actually respectfully. Nashville's a pretty soft market. And what I mean by that is it's not New York, it's not Philly where, it's just screaming at everybody constantly. Like, Nashville's pretty relaxed. You know what I mean? I assume Memphis is probably very similar. Like, we welcome you in. You know what I mean? And especially for a guy like Cam Ward at that position, number 1 overall pick, there's excitement. And fans understand that the Titans were picking number 1 overall for a reason, right? It's a team game here. So, Cam could have good games, they have bad games, right? That's natural, man. It's going to happen. The big thing is just, is this going in the right direction? You know what I mean? And is he not, just constantly throwing picks? That's literally all he needs to do in year 1 is just don't be Will Levis, right? Like, just don't be that, and throwing pick sixes. So, yeah, man, like, I think that, Titans fans will give him a lot of leeway, and it'll be a very friendly, welcoming spot for Cam Ward. I think he's already feeling it. Like, we see him talking to the media and stuff like that, and, man, he's just all smiles, man. Seems like a good kid, and seems like he's happy, so Alex, certainly getting that.
We're out of time today, but I promise you, one of these Fridays in the summertime, I want us to do a long form because you're talking about knowing markets. You do, and you know the talk radio business. You know the podcast business. You know the clicks and subs business. You know it very, very well. I've got a contention. We can't hash it out today, but I've got a contention that these SEC football towns first, I think Memphis, Nashville, Birmingham doesn't have a pro team, but New Orleans would certainly be like this. I think we're harder still on the college guys than we are on the pro teams in our towns.
Oh, yes. Let's do that one day. Whatever you guys want, we'll go longer. Okay. And that's a great topic. 100% agree.
Yeah, we'll stash it. We'll bring it back one summer afternoon for sure. Alan, enjoy the weekend. Good luck, and we'll do it again next Friday.
Look forward to it, boys. Appreciate you guys as always. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thanks,
you too.
Alan.
Good luck.
Right back at you. Alan Bell joining us from Driving the Line. He talks wagering with us every single Friday afternoon.
What do you think of my theory? Real quick.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's. I haven't put a ton of thought to it, but I think there's a little bit
credit.
there.
I got to give credit to our friend Drew Barrett. Mm-hmm. Drew one time made a great case of the reason why maybe Marketplace might go a little easier on the Grizzlies than on the Tigers, or even Rick Barnes or Lane Kiffin not getting the playoffs, or SEC quarterback or so. They're not leaving.
Yeah, that's true.
We're always a little bit scared. Well, will they leave? Will they like us?
Yeah, that's interesting, and certainly in some other, because we've talked about with the Grizzlies. You made the point a couple weeks ago where it feels like we're getting out of that phase of people thinking, we finally have a professional team. It feels like that is getting out of here. And
we got out of it about 8 days.
Well, that is the truth. But hopefully we're getting away from that. But yeah, I mean, in some of these other markets where the SEC is really big, but they also have professional teams, I think there's definitely something there to that. So we'll definitely have to talk about that one afternoon with Alan Bell. But right now we got to get to another break. When we come back, we'll talk Major League Baseball. We'll talk some of these weekend series. We'll talk a little bit more about the Rafael Devers situation in Boston. We'll do that next on Sports Time.
We are real real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Sports 56 and 95 FM.
Looking for sports in all the wrong places. Try the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland's Town Square. Fun, exciting, friendly, and comfortable. Wall-to-wall TVs, 24 taps for all your beers, including $3 domestic, $5 craft drinks on Mondays, Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 happy hour. Music bingo Tuesdays, daily special. Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill, Lakeland's Town Square. Enjoy Saturday Chickens and daily special weekend music at the Owner's Box.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. Did you know there are so many roofing companies in Memphis that I don't even know them all? So that begs the question, which one should you choose? So I thought I'd give you a little background about me. My grandfather was a World War II Marine. My father worked for the University of Memphis for nearly 30 years. My mother, a pianist at Raleigh Baptist Church. Seems like forever. I went to Brownsville Road, Craigmont, and Bartlett High School, class of 81. We support the local school systems, youth athletics, and believe in what St. Jude and Le Bonheur stand for. I'm a Tiger and Grizz fan. The point? Memphis is my home. Five Ash Roofing will be around if you ever have a problem with the service we provide. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical, with deep local ties in our community. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing is what we do. We're here for you. Pools, and more pools. Yes, it is pool time at Family Leisure. Family Leisure is already booking pool installs, so you need to buy now and get on that list. 24-foot pools start at $19.99 install. Liners are starting at $2.99. You're going to need some pool accessories, so they're all up to 20% off. Not quite ready for a pool? That's fine. Get a 5 or 6 person hot tub starting at under $7,000. You can also go for a swim spa or perhaps a cold plunge tub. Those are now $2,000 off. Get patio furniture up to 50% off on select sets. Buy your pool now. Get on that install list. Mention this commercial, and your install is free. It's underlined in the in bold print, so you know it's big. It's pool time at Family Leisure. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together. I think a lot about golf, and when I think golf, I think Miramichi. Did you know Miramichi Golf Course offers membership? It's a great way to play more golf for less out of pocket. Their memberships run for $300 a month plus tax, and that includes unlimited rounds and range balls, no extra card fees, priority tee time booking, and discounts in the pro shop. Oh, by the way, there's no initiation fee. Miramichi green fees, they'll allow you to choose the right rate at the right time on the right day for your needs. If morning tee times are more important, you can book up to 14 days ahead of time to reserve your spot. If rate is more important to you, there are discounted evening rates available that you can choose from. Miramichi is now open on Mondays, and you'll find the lowest rate is on Thursday. Sometimes you just need to escape the hustle and bustle of life. Miramichi Golf Course provides just the right place to solve that need. The name Miramichi means place of happy retreat. When you need a quiet, peaceful round of golf, please make your way to Miramichi.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 This hour is brought to you by Lexus Surveillance. Here are your hosts, Brent Stark, Sports Movie, and Brian Davis.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Brian Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios. A couple minutes left in this hour. Got to talk Major League Baseball. Some good series getting started this weekend, but the big story right now is Rafael Devers and what he said to reporters about how he does not intend to play first base for the Red Sox. Red Sox in need of a first baseman after Tristan Casas suffered a season-ending knee injury, so they're kind of in a flux right now. Rafael Devers, who's been the DH this year, he says he is not playing first base.
Isn't that insubordination in any other workplace?
Sure, but I think he's doing it on purpose, and I am fine with it. I think it's a perfectly reasonable thing for him to do, because I think this is more than just him not wanting to play first base. This goes back to all the way at in the offseason when they brought Alex Bregman in to play third base, and Rafael Devers sitting there going, wait a minute, I'm the third base. I was an all-star last year, a great one, and I'm sitting here. I'm a third baseman.
In St. Louis last year when I was there for it.
He's a great player. He's a great third baseman. He's a great defensive third baseman. He's great at bat. And so they said, hey, you're going to designated hitter, which I think.
And Bregman only has a 1-year deal, doesn't he?
I think so. I think that's right. And so, Devers was really upset about that in the offseason. And then now, being asked to go and play first base, I think he's been trying to get out of Boston. I think this is just more that he can use to get out of Boston. And so I'm completely fine with it.
Send him to St. Louis. We'll love him.
I would love it. And yeah, I'm completely fine with Rafael Devers.
Cardinals on the Apple TV tonight.
Yeah, so I guess you'll be listening to it tonight.
I'll be listening to KMOX. I'll be just fine.
Let me tell you something, Brett. I have not watched any Apple TV games this year, but I have the past years, however long they've had it. You're not missing anything. You will get a much better experience listening to it than you will watching on
I
Apple
started
TV.
to look up the capacity for the ballpark where the homeless A's are playing this year at Suter Health Park in Sacramento.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it was a few weeks ago when they played at Georgetown Brenner Field against the Rays.
Mm-hmm.
Tonight will have to be the smallest capacity the New York Yankees have played in since when?
I mean,
after the turn of the 20th century, 1909, 10?
Probably, yeah. I mean, that's insane.
For sure by the 30s, the ballparks were even bigger than they are now.
Yeah, no, I mean,
mostly
it's insane. And I've watched a couple games for the homeless A's at home, and I'll be honest, it's a lot more visiting fans there than fans living in Sacramento or I guess making the trip from Oakland. I was watching the Mariners over the weekend while they were playing the A's, and multiple times in multiple games, loud "Let's Go Mariners" chants broke out in the ballpark. I'm sitting there going, wait a minute, this is a road game for the Mariners.
Did they road trip from Seattle?
I guess so. Something happened, and that's, I've heard that now a couple times at A's games. So it doesn't seem like Sacramento loving the homeless A's in their backyard.
Tickets right now as low as $29 to get in for Yankees and A's.
Go see the Yankees for less than $30. I mean, come on now.
With 9,000 people.
Exactly. Yeah, 9,000 of your closest friends. I love it. It's but there are some good series tonight into the weekend in Major League Baseball. Should be a lot of fun. We'll see over the weekend how this situation plays out with Rafael Devers in Boston. Let's go ahead and wrap up this first hour. When we return, we're talking more wagering. Bruce Marshall from Vegas Insider and CBS Sports. He joins us next.
Happy Mother's Day from Goulds. Give the gift of relaxation. Give the gift of style. Give the gift of Goulds this Mother's Day with a Goulds gift card. Now through May 11th, purchase a $150 gift card in-store and receive a travel kit valued at $47 while supplies last. Goulds is always the right size and fit for professional salon services, spa services, and the best selection of exclusive hair and skincare products in Memphis. Pick up a gift card for mom at any Goulds location. Goulds Salon Spa, turning heads since 1932. Jenkins Floors and More invites you to the retail warehouse where they pass wholesale savings on to you. Jenkins Floors at 2356 Goodman Road in Horn Lake. Also stores in Cleveland, Mississippi and Little Rock. They specialize in flooring and carpeting, tile, plantation shutters, and blinds. Jenkins makes your life easy with a 2-week turnaround. Contractors, builders, or family projects call 662-469-9350 for a free estimate. Owners Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins say hello to Sports 56 fans and look forward to your business. Extraordinary events come once in a blue moon, and right now, even the most extravagant luxuries are well within reach. The one and only May sale is back at Sissy's Log Cabin, and you can save up to 50% on nearly everything in the store. This is your chance to get the service, selection, and experience that makes you feel like family. But hurry, the best pricing of the year ends May 31st. Don't miss the one and only May sale at Sissy's Log Cabin, because life's too short for ordinary
Visit Frontier Western Store today for new shirts and boots. Frontier is your top Carhartt store in the Mid-South. There's thousands of in-stock shirts and jeans. They have the classic K87 pocket tee in every color they make, including new ones just released. Available small to 4X. Want new jeans? Frontier has you covered with super tough work denim by Carhartt. And you've got to check out their selection of area jeans for men, women, and children. You'll love how easy it is to find the size and style you need. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled world-famous boot showroom? It continues to expand. New styles by area just arrived, plus plenty of in-stock proven classics too. Whether you need work or dress boots, trust that Frontier is the place to come. See thousands of pairs of Ariat boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, Twisted X, and others. And Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967. This traffic report brought to you by Triangle Meat Company, feeding Memphis since 1967. Open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, 4790 Summer Avenue. Trust Triangle Meat Company.
Good afternoon. A car is on its side over here on 40 eastbound at Hollywood. Traffic's really slow with a lot of rubbernecking associated with this accident. That's 40 eastbound at Hollywood on a car that has flipped on its, looks to be the right side, as traffic picks up over here on 240 east from Mill Branch all the way out to 385 Billmores Parkway. Dandelions, crabgrass, Lawn Solutions says not a problem. Call Lawn Solutions here in Memphis at 867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
This is Original Sports Station. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Joining the guys every Friday is college football historian and Vegas legend, Bruce Marshall from Vegas Insiders. CBS Sports, Vegas alongside VegasSports.com for the 30 years on Memphis Radio. Sports Time, here's Bruce Marshall with Brian and Brian.
Bruce Marshall joins us now to talk some wagering from Vegas Insider, CBS Sports. He joins us now. Bruce, last night the Timberwolves, they evened up the series 1 apiece, and now Shams Charania reporting that at the earliest, Steph Curry could return for Game 6. What does that update mean for this series? What have you seen through the first 2 games?
Well, I have a feeling that these games Golden State actually won the first game a little more comfortably, but close games they can win in this series, but when they lose, they're going to lose big, and that's sort of what we saw last night. We saw that in Game 5 in the Houston series and even Game 6. It just seems to be kind of the way it goes with Golden State now, but I don't put it past them from extending this series and at least getting a split at home. And then it becomes a best of 3, and maybe they get Steph back at the end of the series. This is tight. This is one I don't have still much of a clear thought on here because there's a lot of maturity on the Golden State side, and I think they, even without Steph, have a shot in this series. They're probably not the favorite, and they aren't the favorite, but I think we're going to end up in a best of 3 scenario here. I think they'll split the next 2 in Chase Center. It's just that way Golden State can play. They slow these games down. That got a little too fast for them last night, but their ticket forward is playing these games in the 90s, and they did that a couple of those games out on the road this past week, and I think we'll at least get to Game 5 with this thing split. We'll see.
Bruce, it could end up in the West, Oklahoma City against Minnesota, and in the East, it could end up Indiana against the Knicks. That would be 3 teams that have never won it in the cities they're in. Oklahoma City did in Seattle. and the Knicks haven't won it since '73. Do you think the NBA honchos want a change of pace, or they like tried and tested better, the name brands, Lakers, Celtics, Golden State?
Yeah, they'd be okay with the Knicks though too, because I think they still think the Knicks as a a big brand because they're in New York, and there's some history there. You got to go back championship history in the '70s, so they'd always be perfectly fine with the Knicks. The other ones, we'll see. They prefer Golden State in there too. Indiana, I think, is the one that might make the TV guys shudder a little bit, but Cleveland might be at the same token. Boston, they certainly would probably like as well. But you're right, we could get a first-time champ out of it this year. Indiana's got a few titles, but back in the ABA days, but some of us count those, but nowadays they won't count those. But there's a little championship history there, but you got to go way back to the ABA days for the Pacers for those.
Got to go back to Rick Mount with the Pacers, right?
Yeah, Rick Mount and
Mel Daniels.
Mel Daniels, the first one there. Mel Daniels, Freddie Lewis,
Steve Downing,
Roger Brown, Bob Nedelicki, and coached by Slick Leonard. So their first title was when Mount was still at Purdue his last year, and then he joined them in the early '70s. So they won a couple. Darnell Hillman, one of my favorite players of all time, and he still works for the Pacers, I believe, in their community relations department. So
what George McGinnis with them?
George McGinnis too. Yes, he started off there too before he came into the NBA. So he was part of that too. It was a great era they had there, and they won 3 titles. So the ABA, they were probably the flagship ABA franchise for its existence. But
I promised Brian.
I can't believe.
I promised Brian earlier in the week I'd quit talking about the ABA.
He did. He said he was done with the ABA. I guess he really wasn't.
Yeah, that's okay. I love talking the ABA. I remember.
I did too.
Yeah, it was. Sounds like it was a good time, I guess. Let's get to the games tonight. A lot of people talking about the Pacers being up 2-0, now back at home hosting the Cavaliers. Cavaliers 5-point favorite right now. That total at 230.5. What do you like in this game, Bruce?
I like Indiana, although most of the bets last I checked, we're coming in pretty heavy on the Cavs, and that number's been pushed up. 5. I saw some 5.5, even at 6 this morning.
Wow.
It's pulled back a little bit, but there's a lot of action on Cleveland. I'm not sure if these guys, what's the status of Garland, Mobley, DeAndre Hunter? They're a little bit depleted. Indiana's now beaten them 5 of 6 this season. And really, the last 2 months, Indiana has played as well as Cleveland. Now, I excuse Cleveland a bit down the stretch. They did gear it down after they had sewn everything up in the East. But Indiana has been playing every bit as well. The matchups look very tricky here for Cleveland, which has not been able to slow down Indiana. This has also been an over series, and the playoffs have turned over the last 2 weeks after they started off under 19-7 now, the last 26 playoff games to the over, including both games of this series. And Cleveland just seems to have trouble handling some of these guys. And defensively, they need to do something against Halliburton when he gets going late in the game there. But size-wise, Indiana matches up pretty well. Turner and Siakam cause problems off the bench. Toppin. This is a tough matchup for Cleveland. And like I said, they've lost 5 of 6 to these guys this season now. So laying 5 on the road, even in a must-win, I don't know. I think Indiana's got a shot here tonight, and I think Cleveland's in serious trouble in this series.
I know you're going to say they're both very difficult, and I do respect that. But what's harder, handicapping day in, day out baseball playoffs or handicapping NBA playoffs?
They're both hard, but I would say baseball's a little harder because I see this every year in the NBA. There are these trends, and this year it started off under, and now the overs kick in, and you see some of these just continue to resonate. The zigzag, usually that works more in game 2s at the NBA in the playoff series, especially when the home team loses the first game. That's been a time-tested series, so they're time-tested theory. So there have been some angles that seem to endure in the NBA and keep repeating. And sometimes you just follow these trends in the NBA. Baseball doesn't seem to be those sorts of trends like that, at least that I've been able to play. So I'm going to say baseball's a bit harder, but neither of them are easy, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. The second game tonight, Thunder and Nuggets. Thunder, they lose game 1. They dominate game 2. Now in Denver, OKC, a 6-point favorite, total 232.5. Like anything in this one, Bruce?
Oak City, I don't think this series is going to zigzag anymore. I think, and I don't think we're not going to see a 149 to 106 again either, but the depth that Oklahoma City has is extraordinary, and I think Denver's got to play almost a perfect game to beat these guys, and they played a near perfect fourth quarter in game 1 to come back, but they need some of the supporting cast there, and they got some good mileage from Aaron Gordon game 1, and at times through the playoffs. They have Westbrook has had some good games. He's about all they got on the bench, but those two, Christian Braun and Porter, they need at least 2 of those guys to come up big every night, and that's assuming the Joker and Jamal Murray play well, because Oklahoma City's balanced. All those starters score double digits. SGA scores as much as the Joker does. They've got a bench that's very productive. You're going to get balanced scoring from those guys, and they have, again, sort of a little bit like Indiana, Cleveland, but Denver can't seem to slow these guys down. Oak City's scoring almost 130 per game in the last 5 against Denver this season. I think they may win out here. And I'm seeing Oak City maybe advancing in 5. That's still my pick there in that series.
Yeah, wow. Talking to Bruce Marshall, he joins us every Friday to talk some wagering. Bruce, last night Ross Dellinger reported that the Power 4 Conference commissioners held an in-person meeting in New York to discuss several issues, including future playoff format, the one that is growing in Big Ten SEC circles is a 16-team bracket that would feature 13 automatics, 3 at large. The 13 autos would be 4 SEC, 4 Big Ten, 2 ACC, 2 Big 12, 1 group of 6. What do you make of this proposed new playoff format?
I'm sure it's gonna happen, but the only thing that surprised me is that the Big Ten and the SEC aren't demanding an even bigger slice of it there. But this is their sort of way of being magnanimous. I think the ACC and Big 12 would be very good with that. This does also relegate the new form of the Pac-12 next year, so 26 as just another another league with the Mountain West, which the new Pac-12 is just another version of the Mountain West, and CUSA and those other conferences like that. So I'm sure it's going to happen. I mean, TV is dictating a lot of this, but frankly, I wouldn't mind seeing the big conferences get hurt at some point by this, but that's not going to happen. They're going to make sure they're taken care of. So I'm 99.9% sure they're going to make that change so they can.
And even kind of they're having those play-in games for some of those slots. I guess that would be on the same weekend as the conference championship games, and maybe Friday night offerings and early Saturday with the championship games on Saturday night. But I guess that would be the weekend they would play those.
Yeah, and the other thing here is, remember the NFL had games, that first weekend, and all they would have to do is in the last year, that first weekend, the Notre Dame, Indiana, and the Penn State SMU. So there were 4 games that weekend, so there'd be 8 now. They'd have to play them over, Friday, Saturday, heavy Saturday. The NFL has games on Saturday night there. They are not going to relinquish a mid to late December weekend of college football, the whole weekend. They want it. So this is something that will come up too, but it looks like, and I don't expect the NFL to get out of the way for that. Yeah. So that'll be some behind the scenes stuff. But there is more money on the table for the colleges to expand it. That's going to be the name of the game, and that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. Do you think that getting up to 16 and having kind of at least every power conference, at least 2, is that kind of where we start seeing conferences starting to slowly eliminate championship games?
They should, and they've become very redundant now, and that this is from another era, and I would hope that this spills over into scheduling going forward. And I know a lot of schedules are made out years in advance, but there are still some vestiges of old-time college football that if they're going to want to behave like the NFL with the playoff and all that, they're going to have to, change a lot of it. And part of it is the scheduling here, and you're seeing it. And I was just looking at Texas here this year. Now, they do have that opener against Ohio State, but then it's Sam Houston and UTEP. I mean, that's sort of the formula now. The schools will play one sort of a challenging non-conference game against other power conferences, and then we're going to go light the rest of them. One change is if if all the leagues go to a 9-game conference format, that would include the SEC, which has been resistant to that. But that would be a move in the right direction. But really, I mean, the conference title games are redundant, except in those lesser conferences if there is actually something at stake for the QUSA winner, say, to get, or the American winner to get in the mix for a championship invitation. Maybe you have to keep it there. But for the Big Ten and the SEC, I just don't see both those teams. All those teams are going into the playoff anyway, so I don't know that the novelty of the conference championships has worn off very quickly.
Right, Bruce. We've gotten rid of divisions except for in the Sun Belt, and I think we will look back, and it won't take that long. We'll look back at these years in college football. As some in college football were still trying to hold on to those last vestiges of what we kind of knew of college football, like a homecoming queen and a pep rally the night before the game. If you're going to be pros, and many in college football are saying, look, just understand that we are pro football. If you're going to be pro football, be pro football.
Yep, they got to act like that. And I would also mention the Army-Navy game, too, which in recent years has sort of thought, okay, we're going to give it its own weekend there. That didn't always used to be that way. They used to play that game every year, Thanksgiving weekend on a Saturday. And that weekend, that second weekend in December, they're going to have to say, Army-Navy, you can't do this anymore. You're going to have to push it back. And actually last year it created something very awkward because there was a time last year and both of those sides looked like they could be in the playoff out of the American. And they were going to, they could have invited them had things broken differently with the Army-Navy game still to come after that. That just doesn't work anymore. And they're going to have to, that is also now there's a possible thing there for college football. The second weekend in December, they have to start this stuff with the playoffs. They could do that and just end the season, Thanksgiving weekend. If you're going to eliminate conference title games, there's no reason to do it the first weekend in December. Make that be sort of the off weekend, and then start up the second weekend, the Army-Navy weekend, and push Army-Navy back to the way it was historically. That's another one of these vestiges they're going to have to look at if they want to be pros, and that's what college football wants to be now.
Right. If you want to be pro, be pro. Bruce Marshall with us on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. He's with us every Friday talking all things sports. Bruce, we can remember in college football where Thanksgiving weekend was completely college footballs, totally college footballs. Yeah, the Lions played, and then the Cowboys came along, but there would be a good college game a lot of times on Thanksgiving night, and then the day after, a lot of times was Oklahoma, Nebraska. I can remember Pat Dye's last Iron Bowl at Auburn was a Thanksgiving Day game, Alabama against Auburn in 1992. Now you help me with refresh my memory on something. The Army-Navy game that weekend, was it always standalone on national TV with ABC having regional package as well, and then kind of a night game with Army-Navy from JFK Stadium in Philadelphia? Was it standalone?
No, it was always on the last. It was always Thanksgiving weekend.
No, I mean TV wise, would it be the national game, or would it be kind of some parts of the country see this and others see that?
Oh, it was always a national game, but at that point in the season, it was part of a doubleheader because they would always put 2 games on. Once you got past the early 70s.
Wouldn't we get Michigan, Ohio State a lot of times early and Army, Navy later in the day?
Usually Michigan, Ohio State would be the weekend before.
Okay.
That would be the weekend before Thanksgiving. USC, UCLA the weekend before. But even that, the traditional rivalry weekend, that's hardly the same anymore. The Michigan, Ohio State is still keeping that Saturday before Thanksgiving thing. But, like USC, UC, all those, the Pac-12 rivalries, some of them exist, but they're not always on that last weekend now. But Army-Navy used to be always after the Thanksgiving. The only time it wasn't was when that great 63 game, they postponed a week after JFK's assassination. So they had that game sort of a standalone in December. But it's always been on national TV. As far as I can remember, my whole life, every one of my games is on national TV.
And Bruce, then, ironically, very oddly, after delaying it, it fell on December 7th, 1963. And, that was 22 years after Pearl Harbor. It was still, wow. I mean, that was still very raw.
Yeah, and there's a other story about the 63 season there. And what might have been the best team in the country that year was actually Pitt, and it did not even get a bowl invitation that year. And part of it was because they were waiting for the Army-Navy thing to happen, and the Cotton Bowl wanted Navy, but they bowl invite if Navy lost Army, but it didn't happen. So it was, and things like that happened back in, I'm not saying that is good in the 60s. There's a lot of great bowl teams, bowl caliber teams that didn't play in bowls. It's Pac-8 or AAWU then in Big Ten. We sent their champions. There's that LSU team in 69, only lost once, didn't go to a bowl. So it's a different era. So don't want to go back all to that in those days, but there were some different dynamics back in the 60s for sure.
Sure was.
Definitely were. Bruce, we're running out of time here, but both of Brett's hockey teams in action tonight, the Maple Leafs and the Jets. What do you like in the 2 NHL games tonight?
I sort of like an over in that Toronto game. I think Toronto's going to advance, by the way, and this is the great Berube factor. And they don't lose anything if Wall is in goal. He was in goal half the season.
Sorry,
anyway. I think Dallas is going to take out Winnipeg, and they may sweep them. Winnipeg should not have beaten St. Louis. Boy, that hurt me because I know a lot of people like me have bet on St. Louis. We had them at 40-1 to win the Cup. That should not have happened. Winnipeg, no. Dallas is going to win that series. Mikko Rantanen is the leader, I think, for the Conn Smythe right now. By the way, one note: if you want to look for a real long shot for the Conn Smythe, Edmonton goalie Cal Pickard, 6-0 since they put him in the starting lineup. You can get him at 300-1 to win the Conn Smythe. Now, if you think if Edmonton should win this whole thing, and they're hot right now, it's probably McDavid or probably Draisaitl. But if they had to name a guy right now as their MVP in the playoffs, it might be Pickard. You can get him about 300-1 to win the Conn Smythe. I haven't seen a price that big with even an outside chance to win it in a long time. So keep that in mind too.
Yeah, that's some really good odds there. Bruce, before we let you go, where can we find more of you?
Yeah, thanks. Check me out online, Brian. Good old places there, VegasInsider.com, CBSSportsline.com, and also the new places for picks with a different twist, picksandparlays.com and winnersandwhiners.com.
Bruce, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy the weekend. We'll talk to you again on Friday.
Okay, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Bruce.
Thank you, Bruce. Be safe on I-5. That's where Bruce Marshall is right now. So, Brian, we were talking the other day about we got a lot of things wrong, like the Reds and the Braves in the National League West.
Yes.
That really is laughable.
Oh, man, it's tough. It's really tough.
But college football, it was and it's a reason why a lot of the Southern teams have so many more all-time bowl appearances than a lot of the name brand Northern teams. Because, like Bruce said, if you didn't win the Big Ten, you stayed home.
Yeah.
I mean, it was either Rose Bowl or nothing. And they may have even had a rule in there you couldn't go back-to-back years. Notre Dame would not go to anything for a long time.
Right.
Finally, the Cotton Bowl got them to come to that game to play Texas after the 69 season. So in the 1970 season, Arkansas goes 9-2, had a loaded team.
Sure.
They open against Stanford in Little Rock and lose a heartbreaker to Jim Plunkett in his Heisman Trophy winning year.
All right.
They win 9 straight. They lose in Austin in big shootout 2 to finish 9-2. And loaded team, star quarterback, star team, star players, everything. Frank Broyles, well thought of. They sit at home. They go to nothing.
Holy cow.
They would be a 4 or 5 seed team now.
They absolutely would. Wow.
So if you went back and tried to put together from yesteryear who would win it, it would be a fun exercise.
Ooh.
But that Arkansas team, if they had gotten hot in the playoffs in 1970, they might have won it all.
It's crazy. You lose 2 games and your reward is sitting at home. I mean, that is
sit at home.
That's crazy. Wow.
And fans super aggravated over it.
Oh, I believe it. Wow, that's hard to believe. Yeah, the times have certainly changed, for sure.
Much for the better.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
With the problems and the issues and the cat fights we have now, this is the best time for sports. It gets a little messy.
It does.
And the money is more than we can imagine.
Yeah, but it's certainly good times for sure in the world of sports. Well, the weekend is here. It's a perfect time to head out this weekend to Frontier Western Store. You can walk into the new season in style. Family owned and operated since 1967, Frontier Western is your one-stop shop for the biggest brands in Western wear. Check out Frontier's world-famous boot showroom. Whether it's work boots or dress boots, Frontier has you covered for the entire family with plenty of in-stock proven classics like Ariat, Dam Post, and Durango. Frontier Western Store is your one-stop shop for Carhartt in the Mid-South. They've also got you covered with plenty of other brands when it comes to shirts and jeans. Need a new pair of jeans? Frontier has you covered with the biggest brands from Ariat all the way to Wrangler, and you'll love how easy it is to find the perfect style and size for you. Frontier's pricing, it's lower than online and chain stores, so you will know you're getting the best deals. Head down to 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch and check out the whole selection. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Sundays, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Head down to Olive Branch and check out Frontier Western Store. Well, let's go ahead and get to a break, and when we return, we got to talk the NBA playoffs last night. Timberwolves, they got the win over the Warriors tonight. 2 more games, Cavs at Pacers, Thunder at Nuggets. We'll talk all of that next on Sports Time.
Top Gun is the largest indoor range in the Mid-South. The size isn't their only difference. Top Gun has the best instructors with over 300 years combined experience and classes all the way from first shot to master marksmanship. Plus, Top Gun is affordable. Gold membership is just $48 a month. That's just $1.60 a day for a limited range time. Free gun rentals with purchase of ammo and members lounge access. Top Gun, 2770 Whitten Road and TopGunMemphis.com. Always ship with the best. Top Gun Memphis. I don't think I'm a bad golfer. I know I'm a bad golfer. This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Mark's Men's Store Realtors. But sometimes bad is not quite the right word. Awful, that's more like it. And when it comes to selling houses, that's a whole different story. Over the many years that I've been in the real estate business, I have refined and perfected my highly successful strategic marketing program. In golf, forget about my normal 5 strokes on a par 3. But remember the home I just closed in November with 2 offers at full list price. Okay, let's review. If you're thinking of selling, wouldn't you want an experienced player on your team to lead you to the closing table? Someone whose background is marketing and not merely putting a sign in the yard. And remember what people often say, that when you want the job done, call who? Sheldon. You can reach me, Sheldon Rosengarten, at MemphisRelocate.com or 483-0546. That's 483-0546 or MemphisRelocate.com. And go Tigers.
The success you've already had matters at University of Maryland Global Campus because we're a school for real life. And Accredited State University, UMGC lets you earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for private learning, life, and work experience. Or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. We offer affordable tuition and online and hybrid courses. Classes start May 14th. Apply now and save with no application fee. Learn more at umgc.edu. In Virginia by Shaw.
Sunrise on Jefferson and Sunrise East on Poplar are by far the most popular local breakfast and lunch destinations in Memphis. If you haven't been to either Sunrise location, then your friends and coworkers know something you don't. There is simply nowhere else in Memphis where you get such a high-quality breakfast or lunch made fast, fresh, and just for you. People you know are talking about you behind your back because you haven't tasted the deliciousness that is Sunrise. And there are two of them. One of them has to be close to you, and you still haven't had the best breakfast or lunch in town. For shame. For shame.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Still trying to clean up this crash over here where a TDOT help truck was hit from behind on 40 eastbound at Hollywood. Again, it's going to be over here for just a little bit longer as traffic starts to crank up out of Midtown on 240 southbound at South Parkway. It is also picked up on 240 east from Mill Branch all the way out to 385 Billmores Parkway. Weimer's Jewelry is your diamond engagement ring headquarters this coming bridal season. Go see them this weekend and shop local at Weimer's Jewelry on Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Well, it was all Minnesota last night in Minnesota as the Timberwolves even the series 1 apiece against Golden State. 117-93, the final score. A weird game. Timberwolves jump out in the first quarter. I say jump out. They held the Warriors scoreless for nearly half of the first quarter. And then in the third quarter, the Warriors came all the way back, trailed by 20 at one point in the second quarter, came all the way back in the third quarter, made it a 7-point game before Minnesota stretched that lead right back out. I mean, 4 minutes later, after Golden State cut the lead to 7, 4 minutes later, Minnesota's up by 18 points. So, it was really fast how Minnesota worked last night. They get the win. Now they'll go to Golden State for games 3 and 4. And I've mentioned it a couple times now, Shams Charania earlier today reporting that Steph isn't expected to return until game 6 at the earliest. So it's going to be tough for Golden State. But at the same time, in that same breath, all they wanted was to take one on the road, and now you get back home one apiece. So, they're going to have to make some adjustments, but not in a terrible spot right now.
In the order of priority for Minnesota players, where does Naz Reid come in?
I would say he's in the top 5. He's even though he comes off the bench, he's in the top 5.
Same for DiVincenzo coming off the bench, or he's 6?
Yeah, he'd probably be 6. Only so many starters I can take out of being in the top 5 priority.
That's right. But last night, former Tiger Josh Minot, 3 minutes played.
Oh man, I missed him. I turned the game off before Josh Minot checked in. Glad he got in there. Glad he's still with the team. But I missed his 3 minutes. Did he do anything in those 3 minutes?
No.
Oh, that's too bad. Too bad for old Josh.
Had 2 points.
I never hear when people talk about former Memphis Tigers, never hear any Josh Minot. I hear a lot.
We remember the game
people
against Louisville that you completed watching for us more than we remember the Josh Minot year.
1 year.
Games?
1 year. Well, and then, the controversy in the offseason after is if he didn't decide to go in the draft, he's going to Duke. Allegedly.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, supposedly. That's what some people were saying, was that Duke was in on him heavy and that he would maybe go to Duke if he didn't go to the NBA. If that was true, maybe should have gone to Duke.
Yesterday when we were going over kind of Tiger schedule and what would be left, are we still thinking that this year it was preseason game, didn't count, that St. Jude might put on an MTE, and can you play in 2 in 1 year?
It's a great question. I do not know. I would hope if you can't, that maybe if they are going to do something like that, maybe you don't brand it as a November MTE and you do just kind of an early, almost like the Champions Classic type thing. And then Memphis could certainly play in that. But
So have one game one night and the Tigers and somebody the next?
that
Or
have
just
a
standalone one game?
or have a doubleheader. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, figure out something if that's what you're going to do.
Great idea.
But I haven't heard a single thing about it, whether it's preseason, regular season, anything. And it feels like if that is going to be a thing, we should hear something very soon. Yeah. I've seen some people question it on social media and haven't really seen anybody respond with an answer. So I have no idea.
Well, it wasn't very well attended last year.
It wasn't. I hope it's back. I mean, that was a lot of fun. I was down there last year. And it was a blast. I mean, seeing North Carolina and the Tigers out there, even being a preseason matchup, it was a lot of fun. So, I mean, I hope they get something going, and certainly would be for a good cause. But I think the fact that, we're in the early stages of May and haven't heard anything about it even being a thing leads me to think that maybe something exhibition-wise, but probably unlikely it's something regular season-wise.
All right, I picked on, or at least picked at Josh Minot. Here's one, and I missed badly. And, boy, the player comparisons were bad. I'm going to have to eat all these words. Moses Moody for Arkansas.
Oh, yeah.
From Arkansas for Golden State.
Yeah.
He's had every chance, too.
He has.
Last night, he had one more point than Josh Minot, and he's counted on a lot more than Josh Minot is.
How about Golden State? 13 guys getting playing time early in the second quarter. I mean, they
checked
were
them off early.
Everybody. So that's
just try anything.
In anything. I mean, when your first basket is 7 minutes or you're at 7 minutes remaining in the first quarter, yeah, you're just trying to throw darts at that point. But you're right. I mean, Moses Moody just has not really been able to do anything. They've given him plenty of opportunities. Hasn't. I mean, last night 0 for 5 in 16 minutes of action. It's not working for him. But yeah, you were very high on him coming out of Arkansas.
You want me to remind you of the player comp?
Please, because I don't remember it.
He's going in the Hall of Fame this year.
Melo?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Is that when I say good night and hang it up?
Yeah. I think Brett, you can clock out early today. You can call it a weekend. We'll see you on Monday, maybe.
Yeah.
Hey, you got to swing. Sometimes you miss. It
happens. I wanted the Grizzlies.
You did.
To take it.
No, you did.
Remember all that?
I do.
I jogged your memory now.
Well, I mean, where was the Grizzlies pick much better? I mean,
that was LaRavia, wasn't it?
That was Zaire.
That was Zaire.
That was Zaire. So, I don't think the Grizzlies pick was much better. But
I can't crush them.
No.
They can't crush me either.
That's right. But somebody can crush you for comparing Moses Moody to Carmelo
and
Anthony. I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. You got to take swings.
I never had a player comp for TJ Leaf. I just liked him stand alone.
I like TJ Leaf.
Did he appear in 40 NBA games?
Somewhere around there.
I'm looking now. It won't be much more.
No, it certainly won't be. But last night, really poor shooting for the.
Oh wow, 146.
How about that? So a lot more.
Year and a half.
More than 100. more than what you thought at 40 games. It was a very poor shooting night for the Warriors last night. 44.7% from the field. Only 28% from three. That is 9 for 32 from three. That was just really, really bad last night. Draymond picks up another tech. That's tech number 5 in the postseason. If he gets to number 7, it's a 1-game suspension, so he's got to be careful.
7 at any point the remainder of the playoffs.
At any point. That's at least what I read. That's what it made it
sound like.
So
if they won this round, he got 1 in the Western Conference Finals. He gets 1 in Game 6 of the NBA Finals. He's out of Game 7.
Correct.
It's been enabled. It's been allowed.
It absolutely has. And, I think there are things that I think he probably wouldn't think this, but I think there are things he gets away with at times. I also think there are things that he doesn't get away with at times. Like it's very weird how Draymond Green is officiated, I think. But yeah, I mean, he's been allowed to do it. I think, what was it? I forgot what game it was in the last round where he almost he almost figured out that you can get a technical and a flagrant, and they kind of offset each other. It doesn't add up to that, second technical and you're ejected. So he almost found that loophole. It's been very weird playoff wise for him. But
I think Minnesota wins this series.
Yeah,
I had them winning this series.
You did. I think I had them as well, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But after last night, you got to feel really good about Minnesota because Golden State had no answers. Golden State, it really felt like, because I was kind of thinking about it, it felt like game one, Minnesota came in with the game plan of Steph Curry's going to be out there. This is how we defend the Warriors with Steph Curry on the court. Steph Curry gets injured. He leaves the game, and that kind of messes up the rest of the game plan. Last night, they game planned, there's no Steph Curry here. This is how we game plan for the rest of the guys that are going to be out there on the court, and it worked out beautifully. I mean, there were times last night where you're just scratching your head at some of the shots that Golden State was throwing up, some of the shot creation that they were trying to get. And, I mean, there was this one where Buddy Hield's in the corner. He does a little bit of a crossover, pull back, step back, and just kind of heaves it up for three. And it was nowhere close. Jimmy Butler had a couple times where you were just kind of scratching your head at some of the shots he tried to create. They just don't have that point guard, that facilitator that Steph Curry is. While he is the great shooter, you almost got to double team him every time, and that gets somebody open. They don't have that, and it's showing that that's going to be a problem for them offensively.
And that injury already being moved back more games, I don't think he plays again, even if they somehow could move along.
I go back to, in street clothes on Twitter. People
the
gotta
doctor
go
site.
Follow him. He's so good. Right after the injury, he came out there and said, this is the time of a grade 1 sprain, a grade 2 sprain, a grade 3 sprain, and even said, I would think if he comes back, it would probably be game 6 or game 7, and now we're seeing at the earliest, probably game 6. So
he got it right again.
The Warriors got to figure out a way to do this without him, and if you're just taking off what you saw last night, doesn't feel like they've got many answers.
There's never been an NBA team come back from down 3-0, right? We've had a couple get it back at 3-3.
Mm-hmm. I believe that's right.
Couple in hockey, and famously the Red Sox against the Yankees and Kurt Schilling's bloody ankle. You believed it was blood, didn't you?
Oh, of course.
Okay. Some don't.
Really?
Why do I think even if Indiana goes up 3-0 and the Knicks go up 3-0, we might be close to one? This is the anatomy of one happening.
Yeah.
Of somebody winning 4 straight.
Well, I think certainly for Boston, I think a lot of it has to do with how the Knicks have won this game. It's been all Boston for 3 quarters, and then the fourth quarter meltdowns. Yeah, I mean, you're up 20 in both those games. It feels like at some point we're going to wake up to reality, and Boston's going to go out there and win these games. And I think the other series for Cleveland, those 3 injuries, those are 3 key guys that they rely on. And so I think, the thought there, and kind of the same thing, last game, they had that game won. And ultimately, Tyrese Halliburton sinks the game winner. They come back, they're trailing by 7, come back and win. You get those guys healthy, I think that changes things. So I certainly buy in more to, if both these series get 3-0, I buy more into Boston coming back than I do Cleveland coming back. But I
said in my top story that on Monday, Indiana's moved on.
That's right. Yeah, that would be.
So the one I don't trust. And that's my Knicks.
That's right. You're a Knicks. So no, I mean it's going to be it'd be crazy if the Pacers, and hopefully that.
I heard someone else today anoint that just getting to it was Kendrick Perkins. It wasn't just somebody else. It was Kendrick Perkins earlier today. Said that just getting to the Eastern Conference Finals and pulling this upset over Boston makes Jalen Brunson one of the legendary Knicks of all time. Jersey retired, Levin. That's a lot of people now saying that.
It is. I mean, he has become one of the most beloved New York athletes ever. I mean, it is incredible what is going on right now.
Aren't we a little bit into Jeremy Lin territory? A little heat of the moment?
Maybe, but he's been doing this all year. He was doing this
Couple
last
years.
year. You know, he's
We
starting
got to have
to
a
build it up.
few more years, though, don't we?
Well, yes, but you got to remember, Brett, this is the same franchise that back in the summer were already buying rings and putting in ring sizes for the NBA Finals after a trade. So, you know, they've got to have something to believe in, and Jalen Brunson has made them believe, and I think that is good enough for them. And it's certainly, this series is certainly Jeremy Lin-like, but Brunson, he's becoming Mr. New York.
Good Saturday tomorrow in New York.
Oh, it's going to be insane.
Knicks and Celtics at the Garden, then Mets baseball.
It's going to be insane. I mean, that game, and imagine they win that game tomorrow. Heck, the celebration might move to the game down the street. I don't know. I mean, everybody might go to the Mets game and just celebrate the Knicks afterwards. That'd be fun.
Would be.
But,
Mets and Cubs.
Yeah. So a good series. That'll be a really fun game. Yeah. So, yeah, because I'm supposed to remind you that's where you're beaming for the weekend. You're beaming to New York.
I think I might change.
Wow. Okay. All right. We'll see.
Or should I stay with it?
Maybe I'll beam to New York then. We'll find out. That'll be later in the show. It's about an hour from now, so you got plenty of time.
22 win Cubs, 24 win Mets.
That sounds like
tonight.
Fun. Sign me up. That sounds like a lot of fun. Who you think wins tonight in these two? Well, I know who you think wins one of them. Who wins Denver and OKC?
Denver.
Really? Wow. Okay.
If they don't, it's over.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm with Bruce. If OKC wins tonight, then yeah, it's going to be 5 games, and gentleman's sweep. Congratulations, Denver, for getting the first one. Thanks for playing. And who you going to hire as the head coach after that?
Yeah, and he's out.
Yeah, well, he certainly could be after that, but I don't know. I mean, I heard everyone saying he got him out of the first round. He put it in permanent ink. He's going to be the head coach moving forward. So
they were thinking winning more than just one though in this 3-year cycle.
Oh no, they absolutely were. So we'll see, but tonight should be fun. Tomorrow will be a lot of fun for these NBA playoff games. Let's go ahead and get to another break, and when we return, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11, here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Welcome to Fat Larry's in Bartlett. Come in today for award-winning barbecue and so much more. Catfish, steak burgers, chicken, certified prime Angus beef steaks, along with all the sides, homemade rolls, delicious desserts, beer, and service that is out of this world. Fat Larry's cooks everything made to order just for you. Dine in or order online at fatlarrys.com. We're the best barbecue, southern cooking, and friendly atmosphere in town. Family owned and proud of it. Fat Larry's, conveniently located at 7537 Highway 70, just west of Appleton.
Pools, and more pools. Yes, it is pool time at Family Leisure. Family Leisure is already booking pool installs, so you need to buy now and get on that list. 24-foot pools start at $19.99 install. Liners are starting at $2.99. You're going to need some pool accessories, so they're all up to 20% off. Not quite ready for a pool? That's fine. Get a 5 or 6 person hot tub starting at under $7,000. You can also go for a swim spa or perhaps a cold plunge tub. Those are now $2,000 off. Get patio furniture up to 50% off on select sets. Buy your pool now. Get on that install list. Mention this commercial, and your install is free. It's underlined in the in-bold print, so you know it's big. It's pool time at Family Leisure. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me early on, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you
Bike home, town, village.
Happy Mother's Day from Goulds. Give the gift of relaxation. Give the gift of style. Give the gift of Goulds this Mother's Day with a Goulds gift card. Now through May 11th, purchase a $150 gift card in-store and receive a travel kit valued at $47 while supplies last. Goulds is always the right size and fit for professional salon services, spa services, and the best selection of exclusive hair and skincare products in Memphis. Pick up a gift card from mom at any Goulds location. Goulds Salon Spa, turning heads since 1932.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Well, Brett, my big number today, it was one that we have already talked about today. I didn't really know we were going to talk about it today. Big number is 6. Maybe you remember the big number 6 that was brought up earlier today. Calvin Pickard of the Edmonton Oilers is the first goalie in NHL history, or Tindy as we like to call him. First Tindy in NHL history to start 6 consecutive team games, have his team fall behind in all 6, and yet earn the win in all 6. Bruce Marshall brought that up, said maybe place a bet
if they
on
continue.
him. That's right, if they can keep going. They're red hot right now. But, Edmonton has had their Tindy issues the last year or 2 years. But definitely they've got a hot one right now in net. And maybe they can...
Conn Smythe's kind of MVP of the playoffs.
Correct. That's MVP.
Do you have to be in the Stanley Cup Finals to be the Conn Smythe winner or win the Stanley Cup? Have they ever had a non-Stanley Cup winner?
Last year.
Oh, really?
Last year it was, why am I blanking on his name? McDavid. McDavid won the Conn Smythe on the losing team, losing to Florida.
Have they ever had anybody not make it to the Stanley Cup Finals and win it?
I do not know the answer to that.
Boy, you'd have to have been really extraordinary.
You got to be really good to do that. But I do know because it was a big ordeal last year because it was kind of like the post-game interviews, and Connor McDavid is not happy that they had lost, and they walked in with the trophy, and they were like, congratulations, and he was just like, okay, thanks.
We're really true to our word. When we pick on opening night of the NHL season, and that'll be in about 3 weeks, won't it? That'll be like June 10th?
Mm-hmm, yep.
Or July 10th. The new season will start.
Mm-hmm.
We say when we make our picks for the year, winning the East and the West and eventual winner, and then we won't talk it again until playoffs.
Correct. Yep.
We stay true to it.
We are absolutely true to it. Yeah, so I think you have to be in the Stanley Cup Finals, but it does say 6 players have won the trophy as a member of the losing team in the Cup Finals. So you can win it. So 6 guys. Connor McDavid obviously being the most recent.
My number is 6,520, 6,520. That is the most minutes played by a player that's still active in these playoffs, and that's Al Horford.
Yeah.
He's been a warhorse,
Big
hasn't
Al.
he?
Yeah,
But he's 21st all time. You know LeBron's number one all time in playoff minutes, but 6,520 for Al Horford, and his clock could be ticking.
It could. It absolutely could be.
And I'd have to look to see who would be the next most.
Yeah.
But he's active leader for
That's right.
now.
Yeah. But you're right. TikTok. I mean, I certainly, might see it again, but days are winding
Better
down.
win tomorrow.
Yeah, no, you definitely better win tomorrow. But these playoffs have been so much fun. I am scared though after seeing last night's game for Minnesota, seeing the night before for Oklahoma City, that we might be coming back to reality a little bit with some of these results.
Do you think February, March lost opportunity for the Grizzlies to be out with just so easily?
I don't, just because who are they going to beat in the Western Conference in the playoffs? I mean, this roster just wasn't good enough. So, I mean, in most years, I'd probably agree with you, yes. But this team would not have been good whether they were the 2 seed, 3 seed, 4 seed, whatever seed. I just don't think they would have won a series against anybody in the West right now.
Well, I can't have it both ways. So I will agree with that. So I can't say it's lost opportunity, but it feels very unfulfilled.
You would have certainly felt better at the end of the season if you were 2 through 4. Now, you wouldn't have liked it. You would have probably felt worse if you had gotten knocked
Criticism
out.
would have been heavier, though.
Sure. So, I think there's the pros and cons for both, because you definitely can look back and say, I mean, it is evident how close the Western Conference was. If you had not done the maintenance days, if you had gone out and won those games, you would have been 2 or 3 in the Western Conference.
Management did not want Taylor Jenkins being 2 or 3.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're onto something with that. And so instead, you're looking up, you're the 8th seed, and everything's already down. And who knows? I mean, if you're the 2 or 3 seed, do you fire Taylor Jenkins? Does the team, collapse like they did? I mean, I don't know. What happens?
If you're 2 or 3 and you lose in the first round with him, isn't that firing a lot easier then?
Oh yeah. I mean, then there's a lot to point back to, and it's, hey, we've been trying this. We get to the playoffs, we're the 2 seed. We don't get out of the first round. We got to make a change. So, yeah, I think there's both sides to it, for sure. But I did want to give a update. Ole Miss baseball, they're doing a doubleheader today. No game tomorrow because of potential weather down there in Starkville. So they're playing right now. Anybody that was looking for that game, we will be joining the first game in progress at 6 o'clock when we're done here. So a little bit of an update. Ole Miss currently up 2-1 in the top of the 4th inning. Again, doubleheader tonight. We'll join the tail end of this first game, or wherever it's at 6 o'clock, and we'll definitely have the entire second game for you of Ole Miss versus Mississippi State. Before we wrap up this second hour, I do got to remind you the weekend is here. It's a perfect time to head out to Bell Tavern, catch all of the action of all of these games. Located 117 Barbaro Alley, Bell Tavern, perfect bar for the night out with your friends or just to go and catch a game. It's not one of those loud, rowdy sports bars either. It's a place where you can enjoy a night out. Get one of their great cocktails in their quiet, dimly lit bar. It's not just the drinks either. Bell Tavern, they've got the best bar food in Memphis. Pair one of those gourmet burgers with the coldest beer in the city. Ooh, that's a perfect night right there. More information about our friends, go to belltavern.com, but give them a call, 901-249-6580 to get all of their information. Let's wrap up this second hour and get to a break. When we come back, we're talking SEC baseball and the NBA with Gary Darby.
takes you to the retail warehouse where they pass wholesale savings on to you. Jenkins Floors at 2356 Goodman Road in Horn Lake. Also stores in Cleveland, Mississippi and Little Rock. They specialize in flooring and carpeting, tile, plantation shutters, and blinds. Jenkins makes your life easy with a 2-week turnaround. Contractors, builders, or family projects call 662-469-9350 for a free estimate. Owners Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins say hello to Sports 56 fans and look forward to your business.
So this month, we, of course, celebrate the World Championship of Barbecue.
Yes, at Tiger Lane.
And if you're on a barbecue team, we wish you the very best.
I do not like where this is going.
We wish you the very best at being second.
Oh, this is bear poking.
Because the best barbecue in Memphis is and has been for a long time to be found at Central Barbecue.
Barbecue contestants take this very seriously.
Central Barbecue takes barbecue more seriously than anyone.
These are not people you want to make mad.
I don't want to make them mad. I just want them to be prepared to be outdone by Central Barbecue.
And I want everyone to know that I did not write this.
And it's really not even fair.
Visit Frontier Western Store today for new shirts and boots. Frontier is your top Carhartt store in the Mid-South. There's thousands of in-stock shirts and jeans. They have the classic K87 pocket tee in every color they make, including new ones just released. Available small to 4X. Want new jeans? Frontier has you covered with super tough work denim by Carhartt. And you've got to check out their selection of Ariat jeans for men, women, and children. You'll love how easy it is to find the size and style you need. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled world-famous boot showroom? It continues to expand. New styles by Ariat just arrived, plus plenty of in-stock proven classics too. Whether you need work or dress boots, trust that Frontier's the place to come. See thousands of pairs of Ariat boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, Twisted X, and others. And Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
This traffic report brought to you by Triangle Meat Company, feeding Memphis since 1967. Open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, 4790 Summer Avenue. Trust Triangle Meat Company.
Good afternoon. There's an accident out here on I-40 eastbound on the Hernando de Soto Bridge. It's got traffic backed up all the way into West Memphis now. Again, it's running really slow as you come over from West Memphis on 40 eastbound on the bridge as they try to clear up this wreck in the right-hand lane. We see some rain showers out here as well, putting the final touches on that earlier crash over there on 40 eastbound at Hollywood, where one of those TDOT help trucks was rear-ended. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry is your diamond engagement ring headquarters this coming bridal season. Go see them this weekend at Weimer's Jewelry on Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Club once again.
You say you stand by your man.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios as we start our third and final hour. And joining us from the Grizzlies Radio Network, talk some Grizzlies, NBA, even a little SEC baseball. Gary Darby joins us now. Gary, thanks so much for joining us. Let's start with the Grizzlies. They announced last week that Tomas Isolo would be the permanent head coach for the franchise moving forward. What did you make of that news? What do you think of Coach Isolo becoming the permanent head coach?
Well, I guess considering when they made the move, to let Coach Jenkins go, that you kind of thought that not only was it a tryout, but that's where they wanted this to go. And I don't, know obviously, what goes on, in the locker rooms, in the clubhouse, and things like that. But the players seem to, it looked like, be all okay. And I think there was a little difference in what we saw with the Grizzlies until they ran into that buzzsaw called OKC. But, I think that was the move, as long as,
it looked like the players were for that, and things, you could see the change, right? A little bit offensively, you could see the change to me in a player or two. And obviously, some of that was getting, a chance maybe with Zach Edey to be on the floor a little bit more with Ja to get more of that pick and roll kind of stuff. I think that was the direction, obviously, once you made the decision so long, late into the season.
Yeah. It was never an audition, and on players on getaway day press conference on that final Sunday afternoon, when not a single player even, they didn't as much clear their throat when asked about him. It was pretty full-throated, hearty endorsements. He was the coach.
And it's, players-driven league. It's without a doubt, maybe more so than any other. So I think it was obvious that, they brought him over here for a reason, too, to be an assistant coach, well thought of, I think, in all degrees of the coaching business. And when you get that stamp of approval from the guys in the roster, then, you go with it.
Second, Kendrick Perkins reference in the last 10 minutes, but he was talking this afternoon. Pat Riley really, he didn't do his availability day after the Heat got eliminated. He waited until today, had a pretty full press conference. About everything was in bounds. A lot of questions, a lot of full sentence, full length answers. But then Kendrick Perkins responded later in the afternoon with saying, this is a players' league, and he can talk all he wants about stars coming to Miami. And this is Kendrick Perkins' comments. He said, a star's not going to go there and put up with his stuff.
I think that's probably the thought process of a player today, right? Years past, Brett, the name Pat Riley was different. That's our age group, right?
Yeah, and Kendrick Perkins called out his age. He said, 80-year-old Pat Riley, people aren't going to put up with.
And I think to a degree that is true, and where you are, that can be maybe even in all sports. But I think, in the NBA, they will know what Pat Riley has done. A player's going to look that up. They're going to know about him. But at some point, they are going to do what you're talking about that Kendrick just did. They're going to call him 80. They're going to think he's old. They're going to think his way of thinking is not the way of today's NBA. I don't know, if it is or isn't, but I know he's had a really doggone good career doing what he's done up until this age 80. He may have to budge a little bit, but it doesn't surprise me that things like that are being said.
Yeah, but he doesn't feel like the budge type, does he?
No, he doesn't. And he's not, and I think, to him, he's going to say, look what I did as a player. Look what I've done as a head coach. Look at this ring here of being down here in Miami and this ring there. I've been there, kids, right? That's probably what he'll say. What have you done? And let me help you get there. You're right. He probably doesn't seem like a budging type.
No, not at all. Looking at the NBA playoffs right now, the Warriors, they lose last night. Steph Curry, it sounds like at the earliest could be back for Game 6. Feels like the Warriors could be in trouble here.
Man, the injuries are awful, aren't they? And who am I talking to, right? A Grizzlies fan base is like, yeah, Gino, tell something we don't know. But it is, and it truthfully sometimes comes out to be which team can stay the healthiest throughout all of this, eastern side, western side, whatever. It'll be interesting to see Anthony Edwards' ankle as well, right, how that holds up throughout this whole thing, because that's a big piece of the T-Wolves puzzle too. But without Steph, I don't know. I'm still, and maybe I'm odd, I'm surprised that Golden State they're playing as well as they have been, and this deep, even with Jimmy Butler. Yet, I guess experience won out in that series over Houston. Without him, I think it will be difficult, but I think you got to watch the other side and injuries also, because if Ant-Man is bothered a little bit by that, that obviously takes a lot out of the T-Wolves.
Pat Riley also weighed in. He had zero regrets on how he handled everything with Jimmy Butler. You could feel that answer coming. Again, that's not a guy that plays patty cake, does he?
No, and you don't want to play. Okay, I'll find somewhere for you. eventually they did, and it's worked out well for at least for Jimmy and for Golden State. It's worked out well, and that goes back to what we were saying before. I don't think Pat's going to budge. He's not going to admit whether it was a mistake or not, or could have been handled differently. It's just not going to be his style.
Oh, I didn't realize this. I'm seeing the story now. He went on to say 80 is the new 60. That's funny, but no, it's not. 80's 80.
Well,
80 is
I
80.
I can tell you what, I don't feel closer to 40. Let me tell you that.
I don't either, Gary. And we're not.
you know where my number is, Brett. I don't feel any closer to 40. If this was 40 a few years ago, I feel bad for those 40-year-olds. I tell you that.
Pat Riley can think that all he wants, but it is not, and it's especially not now in heck, maybe even in college sports, but sure not in professional sports. You're right. Back to your original premise, the players run no rain, no rainbows. They run the league.
Yep. They absolutely do. Gary, what do you think about what the Knicks are doing right now? Up 2-0 on the Celtics, and both those games ended up 20, ended up giving the game away and losing.
It's I think, to me, more on the Celtics than what the Knicks are doing. I mean, look, they came back both times. I get it. And Jalen Brunson has been maybe the best guy on the floor at times in these first two games. I wondered, the Celtics have lived by the three, and, you get up 20 and you're still shoving them up there, and if you're not hitting them, eventually you got to do something else, right? You got to. To me, they ought to have been able to have protected somewhere in there, one of those for sure, if not both of those leads at home. But that's the way they play. They did win 60, so maybe what do I know? But I think it's been more about what the Celtics haven't been able to do and kind of letting, New York get back into things. Give them credit. They came back and they won the game. I would like to think you're going to see a different Celtic team, even though the game's moved to New York City now. But I was listening, actually, it may have been, I don't know if it was this morning or yesterday, driving one of the young ones into school to Sirius XM, and heard Brian Scalabrine say, if Jalen Brunson is the best player on the floor in Game 3, the Knicks are going to win, and then the Celtics are in real trouble, right?
They're done.
And that's obviously true, and coming from a guy that's on the Celtics broadcast. If Jalen Brunson continues to be the best player on the floor, then the Knicks are going to get an easy one with the Celtics, which I would have never thought. And they get Bridges, who has shot the ball well. Cat's done well, but still, this to me is, I know they've won one, but if you're Jason Tatum, you can't let this happen. You got to take over, and you got to do it, and Jaylen Brown for that matter too.
Gary, last year we've had the appreciation conversation around Jason Tatum, and I think it's a little overheated. He is a champion, he is a gold medalist, but this is kind of re-sparking it, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think it does bring back all of the conversations of things, and that's kind of where I was going. They did win it, but now you got to follow that up. You can't just be happy, and I think all of the ones who've won those rings before and done those kinds of things will tell you've got to move into what's next, right? Ring number 2, fight on and get you another one, and you can't just be satisfied with the one. I'm not saying that he is, but and a lot of people that I've read or listened to that are among those around the Celtics agree he should have taken control at some point. When you look at it, Drew Holiday and I guess Derek White are their point guards, but they still use the ball in the hands of Tatum and Brown at the end of games. And I don't know if it's put it back into a point guard situation and let him help you do that. If not, Tatum has got to say, I am the man, and take control and win that game. He can't be stopped. I know that, defensively things were good with the Knicks on that last possession, but you can't be stopped. You got to find a way. If not you, Jordan found a way to find somebody to get the ball to in a great situation. And I'm not trying to make Tatum Jordan, but I think you get my picture.
Yeah, we do. Gary Darby, our guest on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line, talking a lot of different subjects, talking a lot of NBA, and we talk about the Celtics. That, no doubt, was the Grizzlies' win of the year. Saturday, December 7th, getting ready to watch all the college football, or we're watching all the college football championship games, and the Grizzlies put it on the Celtics on the parquet.
Well, and the offense was flowing. Everybody
was.
was involved. Ball was moving. It was, pass shot. It just looked good. And
That wasn't the day you were in two places in one day, was it?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. One of those days, I had that multiple times that the jet left the palatial Derby Estates here in Oxford and flew in two different directions. But that offense was moving so good, and it did look like, all right, the Grizzlies' new offense is, it's going to be what it needs to be, and then changed. And that was the subject too, right? I'm going to bring back Scalabrini again because I heard him, late in the season, because that's what he saw, right? He saw that Grizzlies team and the offense moving, and he was like, this team has changed. Something has changed in the middle of this season to do that. But there's no doubt that may have been the best basketball that they've played in several years, right, in that one day against Boston.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely it was definitely one of them. Gary Darby joins us to talk a whole lot of things. Gary, we're only a couple weeks away from the SEC baseball tournament down in Hoover. Different format this year with two more teams joining the conference. Every team goes down there. Do you like this new format for the SEC tournament?
Yes, I think so, because what it had kind of gotten to for some of them, for the ones, and still those teams made runs and played deep into the SEC tournament, but those that pretty well know, not only are they a lock for the tournament, but they're going to be hosting a regional, and they're going to be a top 8 seed. It wasn't as much of a, we need to go win games, and I'm not saying that they, toss games, right, or let's get on out of there, but it wasn't as big a focus, right? You may not see first two guys in the starting rotation pitch until they won some games, with those other guys and got a little bit deeper because you're resting up, you're getting those guys ready for a run, in the regionals. Now, in single elimination situation, if you go there and you lose, you can get on back home, not spend a couple of days away from home. And I don't know if it helps out that team that needs, the extra win or two, but I kind of think it does. I kind of think when I'm looking at right now the SEC standings in that jumbled up mix of 7 through, let's go on down to 13, because I think they're a good solid 10 in, probably 11, and with Florida and Mississippi State, a couple of wins away from getting themselves off a bubble and in there. I think it will benefit, those kinds of teams more than it will the top teams. I just found that when you got there over the last couple of years, it seemed like maybe not as much emphasis put on going and winning that tournament as much as getting you ready for what's to come in a regional. So I'm okay with that and giving an opportunity for what will be number 15. That's pretty well locked in, South Carolina, and number 16, Mizzou. They get some sort of postseason play, I guess. And it happens in basketball, so why not give them that chance?
Yeah, way back about 2 hours ago at 3:15, we were talking about, and Brian and I were in agreement. Gary, I know you are. You were one of the kind of first to alert me to it. So Texas and OU come in. Football always tough. Basketball got tougher, but baseball was going to be the toughest. I think it's in year one. It's proved to be a fact. Basketball was tougher. Football was really good, but basketball was tougher than football, and baseball's been tougher than either one of them.
Yeah, and softball is the toughest of them all.
Unbelievable.
If you want to go even deeper, because those two teams have either won it or played each other for it, Texas and Oklahoma, and they're in the semifinals of the softball tournament in year number one, and there again. But to your point, to baseball, I watched Texas in the first weekend, and I thought, okay, they're good. We saw that, but now to watch them roll through and where they are, and a 2-game
But then
lead,
Arkansas sweeps them.
Yeah, even though Arkansas swept them, they still have a 2-game lead going into the last weekend. Ole Miss saw what Oklahoma can be at home, and I think that just filters in. You've seen Oklahoma in the postseason of baseball altogether, but it's given you, again, another sport where they're going to be double-digit SEC teams in the field of 64 in baseball, and it could go, like I said, as deep as 12 or 13. So it wouldn't surprise me.
I don't know how they. I don't know how they.
Back end,
I don't know how they make a bracket to keep Omaha being taken over by SEC.
I don't think you can. I don't think you can. The difference, right? In basketball, it was SEC Big Ten loaded. In baseball, it's going to be SEC ACC loaded, and really, probably the reason you can go deeper SEC is because there may be 6 or 7 ACC teams. You're only going to get 1, maybe 2 Big Ten team in that mix. Big 12 is going to throw you some in there, obviously, too. But, yeah, double-digit loaded, you're going to have a lot, even more than, you used to think, well, man, couldn't they separate you so you're not playing an SEC team in a super regional? They can't avoid that this time. They're just not going to be able to.
And only college baseball, come NCAA tournament time, look out for Dallas Baptist.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Great.
You never want to see them as a 3 seed, do you?
No, certainly
You never want to see. You never want to see them. They're always solid. There's always those kinds of teams that you do peek at, and you look and see where they're going and realize, yep, they'll show up and at least be in the regional finals, right?
Mm-hmm.
They'll be causing somebody some problems if they don't go on the road and beat somebody somewhere.
Yeah.
You're right.
Gary, how good is this Ole Miss baseball team in this loaded SEC?
It depends on each weekend,
Yeah.
right? And it depends on where you're playing and where you're not. I mean, early in the season, they lost home series to Arkansas and Tennessee, yet had opportunities to win a second game. Probably should have won a second game against Tennessee, but Vols, give them credit, came back and took a game late. You go on the road, and they just couldn't find a way to get hits against Oklahoma until the final day. And that's pretty much the way it is. Right now, you're looking at, I think it's 10 teams that have a 13-11 or better record. So basically, you hold serve, right, at home, and you just don't get swept. I think this team is much, much better than they were in the past because you got Hunter Elliott back on the mound to give you a legit guy, and they've had other pieces step in and do well. The hitting lineup is difficult 1 through 9. I don't think there's any doubt, but again, we could say that about anybody else in the SEC, unfortunately, except Mizzou. And you're looking at a team that's fielding it better, but again, it just depends because every team on Friday night's got a guy that's going to be drafted in the top 5 rounds. Yeah. Some of them multiple first rounders. It's a lot better. What that means is at this point, they feel like they're comfortably in a regional, and it may be easier in a regional than it is for them this weekend, to be in Starkville against Mississippi State, who's trying to fight their way into the NCAA tournament. So I say this, they're a lot better. And as it's gone, I think you've seen things, totally change from, a catcher in Austin Foley that they, barely played at Kentucky because he was behind, an all-SEC catcher. He comes here, you didn't know what to expect. He hit another 2-run home run early in the game in Starkville, and he's got 10 SEC home runs all of a sudden. You just didn't know what to expect out of some. They've done a good job in the portal. They'll be a hard out for anybody. I don't think there's any doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. Gary, as always, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll do it again soon.
Sounds great. Thanks.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you so much. Gary Darby with us on a host of topics that he can speak so well on. I think the best day of the year, though, is when he was with us pregame in Gainesville at 11, and that night on the Grizzlies pregame for the Grizzlies in Chicago against the Bulls.
Well, Brett, as you know, I mean, getting places nowadays. I mean, we're in 2025. I guess that would have been 2024. I mean, we're just so advanced, and
that was a long day.
Oh yeah, I believe it. But he can do it. If there's anybody that can do it, it's Gary Darby.
But it's Arkansas's year, isn't it?
It feels like it, I mean, it just they
sweep Texas and pound them. Not just sweep. I mean, they just didn't squeak by. They put it on them.
Yeah, I mean, but again, you got to show me, and there's going to be a lot of like both you and Gary were saying. We have a very real opportunity where Omaha is overrun by SEC teams, and if that's the case, I mean, all these teams have the book on you, and
I mean, you don't just get the Jello shot crown for nothing.
Exactly. So I mean,
wonder what that place is doing right now. You take one Jello shot.
They're getting ready.
They're out there mixing.
Yeah, they're getting prepared for here in a couple months. But I mean, you let those bats get cold a couple days, and everything changes.
And I will say it probably too much, and I know it'll irritate people. How often I will say it. Between now and either a dog pile in Omaha for the Razorbacks or whenever they're eliminated, whatever step along the way that they would be out, being out will hurt Sam Pittman.
Yes.
A championship gives him a big summer of relief.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you have that celebration late summer, you get crowned champion, and all that celebration kind of goes on until a couple weeks before the football season, and it's
heartbreaking loss in the regional. Kind of lick your wounds for a week or two on that,
and then
start hammering him.
How many weeks are we till football season?
Yeah,
and
he better win.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. So yeah, Sam Pittman, the biggest Omaha's fan right now.
He really is. I mean, he really is.
Yeah, no.
Now, Dave Van Horn, I guess, really is.
I guess so. So he's number 2.
His great record.
Sure,
and
absolutely.
They're a great program, but it's got a big void in the trophy case.
It definitely does. And, this feels like the year to do it if Arkansas is going to. Since we're talking SEC baseball, I should remind everyone, Ole Miss in a doubleheader right now. They've moved tomorrow's game to today, doing a doubleheader this afternoon because fear of weather for tomorrow afternoon. So they'll play 2 today. They'll play 1 on Sunday. We're going to join in progress at 6 o'clock, so we'll get you to what will likely be the end of Game 1. We'll have the entirety of Game 2, but right now, bottom of the 4th inning, Ole Miss leading 2-1 over Mississippi State. Again, we will get you to all the action at 6 o'clock. We'll join that game in progress. Well, before we get to a break, let me remind you about our 5 o'clock sponsor. It's Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Jaguar Bluff City has been the premier Jaguar dealership for the greater Memphis area since 1984, and their talented team is ready to help you find your next perfect vehicle at unbeatable rates. Swing by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City today and check out the new 2025 models like the 2025 Range Rover Sport, the 2025 Range Rover Velar, and the 2025 Defender. Test drive the Range Rover Sport, where luxury meets performance. It's a perfect mix of style, performance, and versatility with options ranging from 360 horsepower up to 635. It's also available as a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle with $7,500 federal tax credit when leased with approved credit. Take a look at the Range Rover Velar, powered by mild hybrid technology and enhanced with the latest well-being features and fully connected entertainment system. The Range Rover Velar is the ultimate luxury compact crossover. Purchase yours today and get special 4.4% for 72 months financing available with approved credit. Don't forget about the Defender, available in multiple models to fit your needs. The Defender is built for the modern explorer, and Jaguar Bluff City is offering special interest rates for 60 and 72 months on various models. Give them a call, 877-259-6169. Go online to jaguarbluffcity.com, but head out there and test drive these vehicles. 6335 Wheel Cove, just off of Quince for Bluff City Jaguar. Let's get to another break. When we return, we'll talk about what's trending.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, Automatic Gates Construction tailors custom-made solutions for all your residential, commercial, and industrial
industrial needs, including repairs, maintenance, and installation. Automatic Gates Construction specializes in designing and installing automatic gates and fencing that seamlessly blends security, functionality, and aesthetic appeal. Elevate the safety and efficiency of your property with a premium gate solution. Automatic Gates Construction at myautomaticgates.com.
What happens to former real estate agents when they want to sell their homes? This is Sheldon Rosenberg, actually Sheldon, with Mark Mansfield Realtors. I am so proud and feel so honored that former real estate agents contact me when they want to sell their homes. They know that I've been in the business for quite a while, have a great deal of experience, and know that I am good at marketing. Not merely putting a sign in the yard and making it sales. Over the years, I have developed a highly successful strategic marketing program that can mean the difference in what you make and you win. Talk to 2 to 3 real estate brokers, but make sure that I am one of them. So if you or someone you know is thinking about selling a home, remember what other real estate agents have been in business with. Then call me, Sheldon Rosenberg, at 483-0546, or email me at memphisrelocate.com. I will wait to hear from you and take advantage of this good market. That's 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. Thank you.
How did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? We thought of you. All of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos. Merci beaucoup. Malcolm is a listening learner. So he checks with Babbel speech recognition to be Precio. However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wollo said hello.
Oh, tasty high note. Oh, hi, don't mind me. I'm practicing my new baritone sax. I just heard PayPal's paying for people's stuff every day for 100 days, and there's 10 million up for grabs. All you have to do is use PayPal checkout online. So there's never been a better time to buy a few things off the old wish list. Like this leaf blower! PayPal can pay for your purchase. The Great PayPal Checkout.
No purchase necessary ends July 18th. See official rules at paypal.com/thegreatpaypalcheckout/terms. Participating merchants only must use PayPal checkout online. Coverage of up to $100 and eligible purchases per card.
We're looking at this crash here in the Midtown area. One car took it pretty hard here into the wall on 240 southbound at Union. It's still a little bit sluggish on 40 East coming across the Hernando de Soto Bridge from an earlier wreck we had on 40 eastbound just before Riverside. Again, it backed it up over into West Memphis pretty good. And then we had to deal with some rain showers just a few minutes ago that went through that area. Dandelions, crabgrass, Lawn Solutions says not a problem. Call Lawn Solutions in the Memphis area here right now at 867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure studios. We've got about 30 minutes left in today's show. We got to talk about what's trending. And what's trending today, is she not banned from the facilities at North Carolina? Jordan Hudson, she certainly makes news, that's for sure. Pablo Torre earlier today on Pablo Torre Finds Out had a whole report about the fact that, in addition to a lot of other things, the fact that North Carolina has banned Bill Belichick's girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, from North Carolina football facilities. And since then, North Carolina has put out a statement saying that is not, in fact, true. I don't believe him, Brett.
The Evita Perone of North Carolina football, not the headlines North Carolina wanted,
not at all.
I don't know that they've really had them because it was met with more skepticism than I thought it would be.
Mm-hmm.
I was bigger on it than some. I had some tell me it was going to be a royal disaster, just how college football is right now. And for him, the ultimate control guy, look, he writes a book that he never mentions Robert Kraft's name in because he's mad over how the exit and the parting in New England was. Did he not notice everything on the field those last few years without Tom Brady?
Yeah, it's a great point.
And I love Bill Belichick, and I like it. I like his personality. I think it's a lot better than the cut off sweatsuit, sweatshirt, hoodie. I think there's a lot more to him than that. But this is hurting him.
Oh, it's hurting him. It's hurting the program. I mean, it is. These are not the stories, and it's. We thought there for a time. Okay, there's one story about. Well, it all started off like okay, kind of weird, big age gap, and then there was kind of that one or two stories. You're like, okay, it's weird. This is a story, but whatever. Now it is getting to the point where this is becoming so big that it feels like it is affecting North Carolina football, and the head coach, Bill Belichick. And that's something that they cannot have before he has even coached his first game with the program.
And from the hiring, how many years, how many games, now we're wondering, will he make it to opening day? And if he doesn't, then Bubba Cunningham and a lot of people are going to be in a lot of trouble. All the board of trustees that signed off on it, I bet you got a bunch already trying to run from it.
Oh, yeah.
As many will in this case. And I bet you've got North Carolina athletic department staffers, administrators, that she's been something else to that they don't mind leaking this to people.
Oh, I believe it. And, some of the stories that we've heard before today of, how she's CC'd on or wants to be CC'd on every email that has anything to do with North Carolina football, and she's telling reporters and people within the football program of this is how we need to image, some of the people on staff and certainly his son. And it feels like, and some of the things that Pablo Torre talked about on his podcast today sounds like she's not an easy person to work with. And so I can only imagine these staffers and people within the North Carolina football program where they're hiring Bill Belichick and then they get his girlfriend that comes along and wants to run the entire show.
And it's not unusual now. I'm not going to call any names because it would I'm afraid in this context it would sound like it's a negative, and it's not. But a lot of the really higher profile, bigger name coaches, they don't go through the old system of everything coming out of sports information anymore. Right. They really have their own person, a PR team, and they don't report to many other people. Right. And they have that deal struck before they ever accept the job. Now, I don't know if Bill Belichick did or didn't with that, but even along the way, whether you had it struck or not, you may want to position yourself like that along the way. I know of one high-profile coach that he even told his AD,
"Oh, wow,
you don't call me directly. You go through my PR person.
Wow.
You go through my assistant, or chief of staff, whatever you want to, administrative, whatever title you want to give them." He had his own AD scared to directly contact him.
Holy cow. That's crazy. That's insane. But it sounds like she wants to be his PR person. And
she is.
Whatever. No, she absolutely is. It's weird. It's a weird situation at North Carolina.
And maybe much more than just public relations.
You know what? Yes. There's definitely more behind closed doors. I can assure you of that. But it's not a good story for North Carolina football right now.
But at a time that North Carolina is still the tug of war between the Big Ten and the SEC, both want to land North Carolina.
Oh yeah, and we talked about it a couple weeks ago of what could this athletic department look like next year, a year from now. what will it look like? Will you have a new basketball coach? Will you have a new football coach? Will you have a new athletic director? I mean, it feels like a lot of things in the air, not super sturdy with North Carolina athletics right now.
We know 16 in SEC. What's the number in the Big Ten?
For teams?
Yes.
It is it 18 or 17, 16?
I thought it was 17.
I think it is 17. It's an odd number because they added 3 last time.
The SEC would take them even with odd number.
Oh, yeah.
And if the Big Ten's on odd, they would love it to get to even.
Oh, yeah.
But wouldn't mind if it was odd.
No, I mean,
you would take them.
There are teams out there, North Carolina is certainly one of them, that it doesn't matter what it means for your conference. If they're available, you will take them immediately.
They really right now may be more coveted because it's not realistic to get Notre Dame.
Right. Yeah. No, that's a really good point, and I think you're probably right with that. And they're probably the most coveted team out there or program out there right now when it comes to the expansion. So I don't know. I don't know what this program's going to look like in a year, but right now, certainly not the off the field stories you want with your head football coach.
Showboat bankroll time.
Oh,
you
my
ready?
gosh. I forgot about Showboat bankroll.
Oh, I didn't know.
Holy cow.
Wow. Landon, I told you pre-show it could come at any time, didn't I? Be on guard.
You sure did, and I was ready.
Stand on guard for thee, as the Canadian anthem would say. St. Louis minus 4.5. Bryant, you are at
17 teams in the ACC, by the way. Got that confirmed.
Is that right? You are at 400 for the year.
Okay.
Your pick.
Let's go 100 again. And you know what? I'm feeling good. Let's go with the Showboats plus the 4.5. Let's take the boats plus 4.5. Let's take it for 100.
You're down. Landon, you are at 650 on the season.
All right. Well, based on the film that I was watching earlier this week, watching the UFL, the Battlehawks have a few weaknesses. The Showboats have been increasingly getting better each week. I think if the Showboats put great pressure on the QB, causes him to be a little bit frantic, we got a really good shot at this game. I expect the Showboats to cover. Give me 150 for the Showboats.
Wow.
150. Okay. Wow. So I'm going to go anti-group lock again this week. I'm going to take St. Louis, lay the 4.5 for 175. I'm at 850 on the year. We're all 2-4 in picks.
Are we really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Just the money's been.
Look at us go.
So none of us really a good handle on Showboat bankroll.
I'm looking forward to going Sunday.
It's going to be fun. Mother's Day action.
Uh-huh.
$2 dogs, $2 beer, kids 12 and under, get them free. Sounds like a good time.
Will be fun.
Yeah, no, it'll be a lot of fun. So hopefully a lot of people go out there and support the team, and hopefully they can put up a good fight and get a win. That would definitely be good. Speaking of football, I saw this earlier today, and it kind of surprised me. It probably shouldn't surprise me, but we've been talking about leaks going to start coming out really at any moment for NFL scheduling, but that YouTube, not YouTube TV, just regular YouTube, is currently favored to host an NFL game this fall. So another streaming, but the difference here, you don't need a subscription. You would just have to go to youtube.com and it would be there to watch for free, which would be very different to where it feels like everything in sports is moving to whether it's, on television or on streaming, you got to pay for it. There's money involved. This would be a game that would be completely free to watch.
And you promised me you could simply tell me how I could watch it through my big TV.
Easily. I mean, that would be the easiest one because, again,
what gizmo do I get?
No membership or anything. Get like a Roku or something. Get you one of those, pop it in the back of the TV, download the YouTube app, and there we go.
What is a Fire Stick?
Same thing. It's just Amazon's version of it. I'm a Roku. My entire family, all the TVs in our house.
So all the endorsement I need.
Yeah.
If it's good enough for the Dakis family, Roku's for me.
We're Roku people. There are other people that are Fire Stick people, and nothing
now,
wrong with good Fire Stick.
Who controls the Roku? Does Connor ever get his hands on the remote and the Roku?
Well, it's for us. It's the same. All of ours go through Roku. I mean, we don't have regular television.
One control, complete control.
Exactly. If you have the remote in
it's
your
a
hand,
Fiat with the TV button.
Exactly. If you have a remote in your hand at the Degas household, it is a Roku remote. So.
That's great. Tell you something else great for this weekend. Everybody wants to treat Mom special on Sunday. You're gonna have a lot of people coming in, and even for the kind of the big traditional spread on Sunday, you still want that great dessert. Get the big order of strawberry shortcake at Jason's Deli. It would go over big to have around all weekend, or get the whole spread at Jason's Deli for Sunday. And Mom, nobody has to do anything. Let them do it all. All you have to do is set it out and everybody dive in, like the pasta feast or the plain Jane potato bar. All three meals you could get. You could get the working lunch tray with the Italian pasta salad or the American potato salad, all that at Jason's Deli. Whether you're dining in, to go, or delivery, keep it in mind this weekend for Mom on her special weekend. Wholesome food forever. It's a family thing at Jason's Deli. It's healthy, first franchise in the nation to be trans fat free. They were on the health kick way before it got cool. Jason's Deli, all about choice. Whether you seek a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids meals, or you'd like to invent your sandwich via the build your own, you'll be delighted at Jason's Deli, and that great salad bar that you can prepare it however you'd like, with over 30 items to choose from. Plenty off the menu for salads, like the Mesa chicken salad, the Big Chef salad, the chicken Caesar salad, plenty of organic food to choose from in all the locations. I promise you one close by for you to get something for the weekend to take care and celebrate Mom. Over by MUS at Park Place on Ridgeway Road, by the University of Memphis at Poplar and Highland, out in Cordova, down in Olive Branch, and you can always check them out online as well at jasonsdeli.com. Happy Mother's Day to all out there from everyone at Jason's Deli.
Absolutely. Last thing, I just saw this. I completely missed this. I saw some of the NCAA men's basketball committee things that came out about maybe coaches' challenges being added and some other things. Chris Vanini tweeted this out earlier today. NCAA men's basketball committee says there are positive conversations about moving from halves to quarters like the NBA and college women's basketball. Recommends the D1 conferences form a working group to gather feedback on it. The main benefit of moving to quarters is that it limits the foul bonus period, so a team isn't in the bonus with 10 plus minutes left in the half, for example.
Amen.
It helps the flow of the game. So that is significant basketball news out there.
College basketball knows we've got to speed it along.
Yeah. So definitely looks like some work being done to maybe go into the direction of quarters rather than halves. That would definitely be a big change in college basketball.
We got to lose that, use it or lose it timeout.
Yeah, get rid of it. Just everyone loses it. How about that? Forget about it. But let's go ahead and get to our final break of the day, and when we return, we'll wrap up today's show. We'll wrap up this week with Crunch Time.
Since 1948, in the alley, the rendezvous. I'm with John Burgess. John, what's going on in the rendezvous? Brett, after 76 years, we've decided to expand our product line. Anyone who's tasted our ribs is familiar with our vinegar base. It's now available in the 32-ounce jar. It's so good to base or marinate all meats. I even put a little bit on turnip greens. Something we've been using at the restaurant or in our house has been the Greek seasoning. My father was a cook, but my mother was a chef. And she was the one that put Greek seasoning on everything from the Mediterranean diet to steak. My mom used it on soup, salad, veggies, fish, any meat. It's a great seasoning and a flavor enhancer. My brother Nick figured out salt and pepper is more than just McCormick's and Morton's. He's come up with the perfect blend we use to coat our shoulders and our brisket, and he used to make it for his friends as Christmas gifts, and they loved it. All these products are available at Rendezvous or online for shipping as gifts and in many grocery stores. And if they're not in your favorite grocery store, ask your grocer to stock it. A beloved family affair is still going strong since 1948. Rendezvous.
Extraordinary events come once in a blue moon, and right now, even the most extravagant luxuries are well within reach. The one and only May sale is back at Sissy's Log Cabin, and you can save up to 50% on nearly everything in the store. This is your chance to get the service
too short for ordinary jewelry.
How did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? We thought of you. All of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos. Merci beaucoup. Malcolm is a listening learner, so he checks with Babbel speech recognition to be precio. However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
Jenkins Floors and More invites you to the retail warehouse where they pass wholesale savings on to you. Jenkins Floors at 2356 Goodman Road in Horn Lake. Also stores in Cleveland, Mississippi and Little Rock. They specialize in flooring and carpeting, tile, plantation shutters, and blinds. Jenkins makes your life easy with a 2-week turnaround. Contractors, builders, or family projects call 662-469-9350 for a free estimate. Owners Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins say hello to Sports 56 fans and look forward to your business.
Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I want to thank you for making us part of your dining experiences. Treat yourself tonight with a delightful dinner. Maybe start with an appetizer like our baked sweet peculiar peppers stuffed with goat cheese and mozzarella, finished with basil pistou, and move on to one of our cozy dishes like the double chocolate stout braised boneless beef short ribs with tonkatsu sauce and creamy mashed potatoes. Or a fresh seafood dish like our pan-roasted ginger buttered sea bass with cilantro soy vinaigrette. I get hungry just talking about it. Don't forget about dessert, our famous sweet buttermilk pie with brown sugar sauce, or drink your dessert with one of our signature dessert cocktails, like the lemon cheesecake martini, lemony, icy, frothy, and dusted with graham cracker crumbs. Napa Cafe, open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. For reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. Come join us. We can't wait to serve you.
Congratulations to Napa Cafe, celebrating 27 years of great food and service for you. Napa Cafe.
This is pretty cool, and we're just getting started, so.
Spanning the globe.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
Well, Brett, what I learned today, yesterday we talked about Louisville adding Memphis to their non-conference slate next year. Well, yesterday it was announced that Louisville and Cincinnati, earlier today it was announced, Louisville and Cincinnati have agreed to a 2-year neutral site series. The series will start this season at Heritage Bank Center in downtown Cincinnati, formerly known as the Riverfront Coliseum, the current home of the Cincinnati Cyclones. It once was home to your Kentucky Colonels of the ABA. So there's another ABA shout out there. Also, Elvis Presley performed his second to last concert ever at that venue. Now it will be home to a Louisville-Cincinnati meeting next year. The following year, they will play at Freedom Hall. That means now this non-conference slate, we still don't know what it looks like in its entirety, but Louisville will play Kentucky, Tennessee, Indiana, Cincinnati, and Memphis, all in non-conference. And I'm sure they'll add an MTE. They're not a part of one yet that it's been announced. I'm sure they'll have something like that in there. So a really strong non-conference schedule for Louisville.
Riverfront in Cincinnati also infamous for a lot of people perished at a Who concert there, trampled. And also, it's where Larry Bird and Indiana State beat Arkansas in the Elite Eight in '79 with one of the worst calls ever.
Wow, I had no idea.
U.S. Reed was tripped.
I love it.
No call. What I learned is, I don't think it's going to end well with Bill Belichick and his girlfriend in North Carolina. It's going to come down to this, I'm afraid, for him. And it did with Tom Brady. It was either football or Gisele Bündchen.
Oh, man.
He chose football over Gisele Bündchen.
Yeah. You know, I question that decision. I would hope, I don't know what I hope.
Coach Belichick, football or love interest?
A girlfriend. I'd hope he would pick football, but I don't know. I don't know what I think.
Oh, thing's kind of creepy.
the whole thing is weird. It's so weird, and it just gets worse. Nothing makes this better. No story that has come out since we knew they were dating has made this better. It's all made it worse. So very weird. Brett, what I could have done without today is this trend in college baseball that I've been alerted to. RPI, very important in college basketball, and we're seeing some of these teams play midweek games in early May, late April, that win or lose, it's gonna drop their RPI, and so they're finding ways to just cancel those games, whether it's a little bit of rain or something.
It can be one drop of rain 3 states over.
How about this, Brett? I don't know if you saw this story earlier.
Ole Miss did it to Arkansas State the year they won it. Just by playing it would have cost them that large bid.
I remember that. How about this story from earlier in the week? Washington Baseball is an NCAA tournament bubble team. They were losing to an NAIA team earlier this week that is 11-33 in their conference. During that game, the lights just magically went off, and they couldn't find a way to turn them back off, so the game had to be canceled. It never counted, and Washington still on the bubble.
The USFL in court swore the NFL pulled the main breaker at the Coliseum to try to make them lose power for their opening day. So it's been done. I could do without the automatic bids for SEC and Big Ten. I want 16 large teams. I don't want anybody in that doesn't deserve to be in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I don't really like the one that was proposed and reported by Ross Dellinger. Where are you beaming tonight? We've been waiting. Where's Brett
tonight
beaming?
Only, I'm going to head to the Swamp, see Cardinals Nationals right by the Potomac. I mean, it feels like you're in the swamp. I ain't been to that new stadium, but it looks great on TV. Then tomorrow, give me the Apple. Madison Square Garden in the afternoon and Shea Stadium at night.
It's so good. It's going to be so much fun watching that. I'll beam there as well. I mean, how could you not go? New York Knicks fans are on cloud a million right now. It's going to be a lot of fun tomorrow.
I'm headed to Showboats on Sunday afternoon. We got a little football. We got NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, Truist Championship in Philly next week. PGA Championship, second major of the year.
Yeah, it's going to be a really fun weekend with all of the playoff action, the baseball action, the golf, little bit of everything. UFL with the Showboats at home on Sunday. So much to watch over the weekend. And then Monday, when we talk again, it will be lottery day for the NBA. So we'll figure out who wins the Cooper Flag sweepstakes on Monday. Will be a ton of fun. That's all the time we have. Enjoy your weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. We'll talk to you again Monday afternoon.